All right. Welcome to ABL Live. My name is Anthony Brian Logan. Thank you for joining me tonight. We got quite a few topics on deck. Twitter is being sued by Devin Nunes. Is it going to go anywhere? Will it solve anything? Will it yield any kind of actual results? We shall see. The Electoral College. People are saying let's abolish the Electoral College. And when I say people, I mean Democrats. They're trying to say let's ban the Electoral College. But why? I mean, really. I think that if the Democrats won the last election through the Electoral College, this wouldn't even be a thing. They're just trying to do anything they can to take the White House back. It ain't gonna work, but they're trying. John McCain is in the news yet again. But why? Trump brought him up. The news brought him up. What Trump said about him was true. Meghan McCain, of course, does not like it. That's obviously John McCain's daughter. She'll have something to say on her show, The View, which is pretty interesting. You know, how are you, this controversial senator's daughter, and you have a show on the fake news media? That's a different story, and I digress. But she's upset, understandably, because she is John McCain's daughter, but in reality, she should not be upset. Andrew Yang versus UBI, or UBI versus Andrew Yang. I did a video about this. People are saying that I got my facts wrong. I didn't do my checking, all kind of stuff like that. If anybody wants to call in and talk to me about that, we can do it. And everything else we got going on. Thank y'all for joining me on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And that is my cue to go ahead and get on. I appreciate you guys for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. Couple things straight from the beginning. I may have, hold on 1 second. I got to make sure I get my names right. Now, you guys know about the real Indian who was facing off against the fake Indian, Elizabeth Warren. You guys know about him. Shiva. I can't pronounce his last name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Ayyadurai. I know Shiva. The real Indian against the fake Indian. I may be able to interview him coming up April the 6th at 8 p.m., which is a Saturday. It'd be like the same ABO live time slot. If I have Shiva for quite a while, I'll be able to actually interview him and have calls. But I'm not really sure how long I have him. For right now, it appears to be an interview. So Shiva for the Senate. He's running again in 2020 against the fake Indian. And I'll have him here on a channel live at 8 p.m., which is on April the 6th of this year, coming up pretty soon. Well, we got about 2 weeks. So not this Saturday or next Saturday, but it'll be the Saturday after next Saturday. So in a little over 2 weeks, about 2 weeks and change, I'll be interviewing him here right live on the channel. So I'll do like a promo video for that coming up, like maybe like the beginning of next week, probably like Monday, just so we get everything confirmed. But yeah, shout out to Shiva for Senate. He'll be here live on ABL show. And I'll probably, when I do more promo video, I'll ask you guys if you have any questions. And if we're able to do call-ins, we can do that. And you guys can talk in the chat while we're having a live interview with your questions. And if I can get them to them, then I'll be able to ask. But I have some questions before the interview and then also during the actual interview. That's one thing. And then also, thank you to everybody who's bought some of the merch recently. The merch is doing pretty well. What I'll probably do is introduce new merch every month. I have some new flags coming in probably sometime at the end of this month or next month. New flags, and they're great already. You know, I like them. Shout out to BHE Designs giving me some more flags for you guys. If you want these flags or anything like them, your own custom flags, he does all kind of custom stuff. And you're going to see the custom work that I had done this time. Is great. And I'll probably be giving one of these flags away back here. These are pretty big, pretty nice size flags. But I'll let you guys know all of that when the time comes. That'll be pretty soon as well. As soon as we get those new flags in, I'll have merch to go with it. And I'll also be doing at least one giveaway. I'll keep one of these flags from my house and the other one I'll be giving away. I'll probably give away the blue line flag. Yeah, the American flag, more traditional. This one is a little bit different. So I'll probably give that away once I get my new flags in. The new flags, one of them is going to be the American flag, just different with less sheen on it, because you see how the light shining off of it. You know, it'll be more of a matte finish, and it'll have inset stars. You'll see it to really understand what I'm saying. And then the other one will be like a Betsy Ross black and white with We the People, and it's really good. Once you see it, I think you really like it. The flags are expensive, but they're definitely worth it. You know, the blue line is for law enforcement, to support law enforcement. But, you know, there's different flags you can get. You can get small flags. These here are pretty big. That's why they cost a little bit, because they're big. They're heavy. But you can get small flags. You can get a lot of different custom variations for whatever you got going on. If you got like a little baby's room, you want to put a flag in, something nice and cute, you could do that. Something real big, something for like a barn, you know, whatever you got going on, a firehouse, you know, anything you want, he could pretty much do. And that's bhedesigns.com. And to the merch right quick, to get into that before we get into the topics. Thank you to everybody who has purchased some merchandise from me. I really appreciate you. You guys are doing great. And I'm going to show you some merch right here that we got. And I'll show it at the end of the show as well. The hats are doing well. My hats, I have some more hats coming in. I ordered these that I put on my website for myself. They'll be coming in pretty soon. So here's a hat. See, this right here, this is how the actual flag looks. Something like this, but in wood. So it's not quite black and white like this, but it has 1776 in the center of the original Starfield, the Betsy Ross Starfield. And right here on the bottom, it has We the People in the original style font engraved into the actual flag. Is really, really nice. And the white is more like it's kind of like that kind of white a little bit, but almost like that one. If you see where my thumb is on my left hand shoulder here. Well, my right, your left. And that flag hat right there is available in the snapback, also in the trucker style. In the trucker style, you can see that it has a vented back, and it's also available in the red color. I have the red trucker hat here with the flag, and this is custom embroidery. Of course, it's not a sticker on it. It's embroidery. And I have the regular snapback, as you can see with the regular snapback, no vent. I have that in black. So that's coming soon. Well, it's coming soon to me, but it's already on the store. If you want to go to the store, there's a link in the box. And I got a bunch of more stuff. The ABL shirt. Oh, this one has mugs. If you didn't know, once you click on the actual shirt, there's other products. You have just a regular shirt. You have a women's style shirt in multiple colors. Like you want the pink or you want the gray, whatever it is. And you also have the mug. It's available in many different colors. You got the white mug, the black mug. So, you know, it's real diverse, not racist at all. You can get it in green, pink, whatever you want. There's a bunch of more stuff on here. You know, you have to go back. I digress. CNN sucks. Those are doing pretty well. Trump Pence 20. MSNPC's doing pretty well. So I think that'll pretty much do it for that commercial break at the very beginning of the show. But if you're just now coming in, please give me a thumbs up in the chat. I really appreciate it. It does a whole lot for me. And thank you to the super chat already from my man Nathan Shield, who says a popular vote passed in Colorado. I called the Senate office in Denver and asked, what about my vote? They hung up on me. Wow. Now, about that thing in Colorado, the law that passed, they can't do that unless it's two things. First, you got to have the other states that have done this, their votes must add up to 270. So you have to have enough states to pass that same law, and the accumulation of all those states, their electoral vote must add to 270. That's the first condition. The second condition is it has to pass the Supreme Court, because it will get sued. That will be a Supreme Court case. They will go to court on that, and of course that would not pass the Supreme Court. That's totally illegal. You can't do that. The Electoral College is a federal thing. States can't override that just on their own. okay, without some kind of due process. It's just not going to happen. It won't get past, first of all, the 270 mark. Enough states got to be able to be on it. So you got to have enough states that are just going to say, okay, let's just totally bypass the laws of the nation to do that. And then it's got to add a 270 during the election, and then it has to pass the Supreme Court as well. So I wouldn't even worry about that. It's more just about people trying to virtue signal. The law says that Colorado, they have to send the electors of the person who won the popular vote nationally rather than the vote in the state. So, prime example, you know how the Electoral College works, right? Your state votes, and the votes that go the most for one particular person, the elector votes go to that person. That's how it works. So California, they overwhelmingly voted for Hillary Clinton. So California's electoral votes go to Hillary Clinton. If Colorado were to get their way, California would have to vote for Donald Trump if he won the popular vote. You see what I'm saying? Even though the state voted for Hillary Clinton. That's how they want to do it. I mean, because in their eyes, they're thinking they're going to save the Democratic candidate, but it could be the other way around. That'd be hilarious. You know, because, I mean, if that happens, then it'd be a total sweep. It'd be worse than Ronald Reagan with Walter Mondale. So they really don't want to do that, honestly, because I think this time Trump will win the popular vote as well. Who has more juice than Hillary Clinton did now than she did back in 2016? I'm not saying Hillary Clinton was a great candidate, obviously, but who has more juice than she did back then? Nobody. We're talking about Christian Gillibrand, Tulsi Gabbard with her lay everywhere. Look, I'm not Hawaiian, so I don't know their actual culture like that, but I just want to jump out on the ledge here, jump out on the limb and think that maybe Hawaiians don't wear lays everywhere. You're in Austin, Texas, ma'am. Why are you wearing a lay in the CNN Town Hall? To let me know that you're Hawaiian? I get it. I understand. Good on you. But, you know, that's like me coming out with a kente cloth and a kufi or some other kind of, you know, like African-American identifier. Because a kente cloth, that's not even really African, but that's a different story. Like, why must I do that? That's what they do on the left. All these kind of cultural identifiers, like the CBC, wearing their kente cloth scarves. Even the guy like G.K. Butterfield, who was a white man, pretending to be black, just like Sean King wearing his kente cloth, so you know that he's black. What's the point? Just put on a suit or a dress and call it a day and let your actual message speak for itself. We can see what you are. We don't need to be reminded all the time. You know, that's what that is. But shout out to the other super chatters in the building. Thank you to Matthew Chambers, who says, thanks for the voice, ABL. You're doing great work, brother. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank y'all for supporting. It helps me out a lot. Shout out to Omar Adams, who says, smash that like button. Wednesday night is fire. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate it. Nathan Shields says, thank you. I looked all over for the information. Sorry, my spelling. Oh, it's all good, boss. No problem. Yeah, the media is not trying to let you know the information. They'll just say that Colorado put a law out there and they want to bypass the Electoral College for, you know, the actual righteous winner. The Electoral College is a great thing because it prevents mob rule. I mean, really, what the Democrats are trying to do with the open borders thing is set the whole Electoral College swindle and mob rule up. They have sanctuary cities. Where are these cities located? In highly liberal areas. So if you have a bunch of people that are there illegally in one area, if they're able to vote, who are they going to vote for? Obviously, the leftists that allow them to come into the country illegally. Christian Gillibrand was talking about giving illegal immigrants Social Security, all kind of stuff. It's like, wait a minute. If you're here illegally, why should you be privy to the benefits of our nation? Why should you have that? You're here illegally. I mean, come on. Return back to your country of origin and take care of it and, you know, take advantage of their social programs, not coming over here, eluding our Social Security system that should be for our disabled, veterans, elderly people, etc. I mean, what are we talking about here? They want them to also vote in the national election. They started off pretty soft. In California, they got them voting in small local elections. Oh, it's just a school board. It don't matter if it's dog catcher. If you're voting in any kind of government level, whether it's city, state, county, it doesn't matter. Voting is voting. And if you're here illegally, you should not be able to vote. if you're here as a non-citizen, you shouldn't be able to vote. You have to be a citizen to vote, period. Like I said, it can be for dog catcher. It can be for prom king. I don't care what it's about. You got to be a citizen to vote, period. It's not about being discriminatory. I mean, can I go to Russia and then vote in their election without being a citizen? I mean, I might mess around and come up missing. How about Saudi Arabia? How about anywhere in Europe? Can I go to Germany right now on a tourist visa and be like, yeah, I'm going to vote for the chancellor, prime minister, whatever they call their leader over there? I'm going to vote Angela Merkel out, so I'm going to bring 300 patriots from America to go over there and vote. Could I do that over there? So if they can't do that over there, why are you trying to do it here? That's the whole point of sanctuary cities, to load them up with people that are going to vote for them. But that's not how it's supposed to go. So we can't have that going on at all. Exactly, El Dorado. It'd be easy to rig an election without the Electoral College and without borders and with allowing illegals to vote. That's what they all want that to come together so they can just rig the election. You know, and then they want to have 16-year-olds vote. All that. It's easy. Get some of these unaccompanied minors coming over the border to vote at age 16. You understand what I'm saying? Gangbangers, all that. And then also, is it echoing? It shouldn't be echoing. If my sound is echoing, let me know in the chat. If you can't be drafted, you don't count. Yeah, the dead vote. People vote multiple times. Talking about some vote early and vote often. I mean, vote often is what? As far as multiple elections, different elections, or in the same election. No echo? All right, good money. Audio and visual, good money? Okay, we good. Lloyd Braun says a portion of electoral votes by percentage candidate gets in that state. That'll make every vote count as California and New York. Yeah, undocumented immigrants, no voting at all. I'm not really with it in the least bit. Now, Twitter is being sued. What's this? Who was suing Twitter? I think it's Devin Nunes. Hopefully I didn't get his name wrong here. Let me see. Let me check it out right quick. Yeah, Devin Nunes suing Twitter for $250 million. I think that the lawsuit is in good faith, but I think that it won't go anywhere, and it really shouldn't go anywhere, depending upon what the lawsuit is for. Because if the lawsuit has the goal of trying to get more government into social media, that shouldn't be the result. Because once you allow government in there, they may do things you don't want. I think it should be more about private citizens doing what they do. But that's a tough one because Twitter, Facebook, these platforms are so big. I mean, I think that if they're getting federal money, grants and stuff like that, that's a whole different ball of wax. Because at that point, now you're involved in the government already, they should have a say. But I think the government should not be involved. I think the government should stay away. You know, net neutrality and stuff like that, that's the government wanting to get a foothold in it. Now, we can say right now we have a conservative government and they're going to do things the right way. But how do we even know that? We still got a deep state to worry about. They can't get things right with what they run right now, although we have a conservative government. Not everybody there is going to have the best interests at heart. Who are going to be people that work there? You got the government in control, but who would the government hire to be, controlling all these things? It ain't really going to be you or me. It's going to be a person that's probably already in Silicon Valley that may not do the right things. So it's just weird. I think that Trump did the right thing by acknowledging the bias, just so we all know what's going on. So the media and the internet companies themselves can't lie about it anymore, just so we understand what's happening. But when you're talking about having the government involved, that might not be the right thing, because that could go totally the wrong way. I think keep the internet free and open as possible, even though it's imperfect, because once it becomes restricted, it makes it worse. Even though the reasoning for making it less open is a noble one, the end result may not be what you want. And John McCain, now, I was trying to be the guy that was all positive about John McCain, saying that, this is a good man. Well, not I didn't say all that. I was just saying that he was a war hero, that kind of stuff. And his service in the military, I can't take away from the man. He actually did that, so good on him. But John McCain was not a good person. It's very simple. I understand why Meghan McCain wants to defend him because that's her father, and I get it 1,000%. But he wasn't a good person. Racially insensitive. Stay in the Senate while he was on his deathbed. If you've been dying for 2 years, why not retire? I mean, come on. Like, I understand it's hard, but just go ahead and retire. He did that despite Trump. To stay in there and vote negatively against whatever he put out there. That's what he did. That's why the media loves him so much. They feel like he sacrificed the last couple years of his life where he could have just been, living out his twilight years, hanging with his family and friends. He could have been doing that. But instead, he's in the wheelchair on his deathbed going into the Senate fighting against Trump. I mean, but for what, though? For what? Like, what is the real reason? What is the real reason to doing that? Just because out of spite? You're hurting your constituents, you're hurting the country, and you're hurting your own legacy. Trump saying something about him. The media's going to be upset about it, but nothing he said was wrong. Nothing that Trump said was wrong. The media can be upset about how he characterized John McCain, but it's totally irrelevant. What he said was correct. And if you're right, that's all that really matters. That's it. Oh, John McCain was a big time rhino. No question about it. Especially towards the end, he was out in front with it. Like, he got a lot of rhinos that are kind of on a low a little bit, not really being out all the way in public with their rhinoism. They're kind of just doing little stuff. Like a Paul Ryan might be an example of that. Maybe even a Mitt Romney to a lesser extent than a Paul Ryan. More so, he's like a John McCain, but not as blatant as John McCain was at the end. It was really sad to see that. So... And, Trump was actually pretty fair. He was like, people like him and that's fine, but I don't. Why is that wrong to say? Why is it wrong to say you don't like somebody? So what if they died? That don't mean that you wish them to die. It just means that you didn't like them. People that are not living today had people that didn't like them. And it's okay. It is all right to not like somebody that is not here anymore. It's simple. Oh, McCain lied about a lot of different things. He was not the man that some people think he is. But I understand if people like him for whatever their reasons are, then that's fine. That's okay. But the more I read about McCain, the more I find out, the less I like him. And it's just as simple as that. So, the media's going to make a mountain out of a molehill, keep talking about this. But it is what it is. Now, Andrew Yang and the UBI, before we get to the calls, the video I did about that, I figured it would get some comments from people that didn't like what I was saying about UBI not really being a real thing, not being something you can't really scale it. It's not going to make sense financially. This man said that UBI would cost 1.8 trillion with a T, with not billion, not million, not thousand, 1.8 trillion every year, not just a one-time payment like for the wall. We want like 5 billion, not trillion, billion with a B for the wall. That's a one-time payment. His plan will cost almost 2 trillion per year. The entire United States budget is 4 trillion. The U.S. revenue is like 3.3 trillion. Where will the money come from? You're talking about VAT tax. VAT tax? So you think that you're just going to put a 10% VAT tax onto companies like Amazon and they're just going to eat that cost? So you'd be able to just rob them of like $800 billion. You think they're going to take that? Not only Amazon, but other companies. You think you're going to rob them for $800 billion? They don't have that kind of money anyway. Amazon pulls in about 235 billion a year, but their net revenue is about 11 to 12 billion. That is about a 5% profit margin, probably less, probably right around 4% profit margin. So how are you going to squeeze 800 billion out of a company that makes a net of 10 billion or even a fraction of the 800 billion? It doesn't make any sense. The VAT tax will simply pass to the consumer. That's how tax is. That's why prices are what they are. Price is not arbitrarily decided upon. Price has a lot of factors into it. You got to have the labor, materials, overhead as far as the production area, the maintenance of a place, the power. If you're in a brick and mortar location, the mortgage, all the taxes that go into the actual brick and mortar, and the taxes, health insurance, all those factors go into the price of an item. When you raise the prices that go into the price of an item, the price of an item rises. People were telling me that he graduated with a degree in economics. I can't tell. I have an associate's degree in art, but I know that. So why doesn't he know that? And then some would say, oh, you don't know as much as him because you don't have a degree like he does. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of guys out here that have degrees that are homeless. A degree doesn't necessarily mean that you're an intelligent person or that you even really were paying attention. We saw what happened with the Full House Aunt Becky, paying for her kids to get into school. Meanwhile, the girl is a total moron, doesn't really know what she's doing. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't know the girl. I'm just saying there are some people that are total morons in school that have no idea what they're doing, that were paid into the school by their parents, or maybe they were good at memorizing certain things for tests, SATs and other tests. So you graduate with a degree, but do you have a true understanding of what's going on? And then you're indoctrinated in these schools with certain ideologies that aren't true. Maybe in his school, he learned about what he's talking about right now, which is not going to work out in reality. He may have been taught in school that if you add taxes, like a VAT tax to a company, then that's going to raise money that you'd be able to pay for a social program like the UBI. But in reality, it's not going to work. You're talking about, oh, we're not going to have federal income tax. We're going to have a VAT tax. It doesn't even make a difference. It doesn't matter what you call it. Income tax, VAT tax, stormwater tax, Obamacare tax, health, whatever kind of money you got to pay on top is just looked at as expenses that a company must pay. It doesn't matter what you call it. So a company is going to try to minimize their expenses. And if they can't minimize expenses without raising prices, they're going to have to raise prices and cut staff. It's so simple. Or they may not expand as much. The planned jobs in New York may have come to a close before AOC got involved if there was a VAT tax put onto them. They're saying, look, we can't even do this. That happened in Washington, D.C. They were trying to open up a store. I think it was 2 Walmarts, and D.C. raised minimum wage like $15 an hour or some kind of crazy amount of money. It might have been 12 or 13, but they raised it. So Walmart says, okay, let's cease construction right now because you guys are raising these costs of doing business. We can't afford it. So we'll go to somewhere else. Let's go to PG County. Let's go to Virginia, somewhere like that, and have that be what we do rather than being here in Washington, D.C. It's so simple. I just don't understand why people don't get it. People want to believe one thing, but something else is actually the case. UBI will cause hyperinflation 1,000%. I just don't get it. People were in the comments saying, oh, you didn't do your research, but what did I get wrong? People were saying you don't know what you're talking about, but let me know what I was saying that was wrong. That's all I want to know. It's like, educate me. Don't just say, hey, go look at this, go look at that. Now you tell me. We can talk about it. I can articulate my point of view and you can yours. That should be the way it works out, but it doesn't really work that way. I love to have Roseanne call into the show, Jack Tone, for sure. I'll take calls in a moment, Kurt Plunk. I see you in the chat, boss. I just want to talk a little bit before we get to the calls. I'm doing that. I'm doing that lately just to kind of get everybody in here, get everybody comfortable. And the thing about the UBI, which was funny, is that if you have government programs, if you're on assistance right now, you won't get any more money if the value or cash you get is at the level of or beyond UBI. So prime example, if you are without a job, you underemployed or whatever the case may be, and you get food stamps, EBT, WIC, TANF, etc., if that equals up to $1,000 or more, you won't get any extra money on top of that. So how is that going to help you? It's not, because you already get that money. It's basically welfare for all. If you don't have welfare, you'd be able to be eligible for it. Welfare has income restrictions. It's based upon, I think, your household size and things like that. But under UBI, that won't be the case if you are not in that level. If you're under the poverty line, you probably get more than UBI, because if you got kids and you get earned income tax credits, you get all kind of stuff that will probably get you more than $1,000 a month in your total benefits. But if you're not on welfare, you'll be able to get welfare for all. Just like Medicare for all. It's socialism at the end of the day. That's where all roads lead to socialism. And then you're gonna have Venezuela eating out of garbage cans. Where's the food? Yeah, I got $1,000 a month, but my refrigerator is totally bare, butt naked, dry. I can't even get a wish sandwich, 2 pieces of bread, and I wish I had some food in the middle of the bread. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it would be. That's what it wound up happening. The money would be worthless. It just, I don't know, man. I don't understand why these kind of ideas are even really floated out there when we know that they ain't gonna work. Hey, Fleckers would be great. Hey, I was gonna go to that event in Florida over, what was that, at the end of last year? Fleckers was there, so the next time it's an event where Fleckers is there and I'm able to go, I'll try to link up with him. Hey, live forever. If I'm misinformed, just tell me why I'm misinformed. I want somebody to call me and tell me why I'm misinformed. Let's have a debate about the UBI, and I guarantee you, I will wash anybody in a debate about the UBI, because I'm strong in this area already. I know about how this whole thing works, you know, because my background, although I was an art guy, I know a lot of guys that are in business, and I do business for myself. You know, I've been self-employed since I've been like 22, and I'm 34 right now. I'll be 35 this year. So I've been in the world working for myself. I understand how money works, and I know how others make money work for them. Guys have brick and mortar businesses. I know people that work for the IRS. I know how money works, so I know how UBI is going to actually play out. And I'm studied beyond. UBI is universal basic income. The idea of UBI is every adult, I suppose, gets a guaranteed basic income of $1,000 per month per Andrew Yang. UBI is variable depending upon who implements it, but Andrew Yang wants $1,000 per month. You don't get $1,000 per month if you already have welfare that meets or exceeds that amount. If your welfare does not meet that amount, but it's a little bit less, like let's say it's 700, you'll get 300 on top. Okay, so you won't be able to stack your $1,000 per month on top of your welfare benefits. Hopefully that explained it pretty well for you, but that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, so I mean, anybody that has a dissenting opinion aside from mine, I want to hear from you. Give me your thoughts about the UBI. We can talk about it, but I guarantee you, like I'll destroy anybody in the debate. So I don't want to have anybody cry after the debate is over. I'm playing, but I'm serious at the same time. Okay, and shout out to the super chatters here before we get to the calls. Let me see. First name said, thank you for being a great voice. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Michael Hodges says, love you, ABL. What are your thoughts on Florida trying to pass a bill that will punish children who post any gun pics of any kind of social media? It's absolutely ridiculous. How are you going to govern social media? That's what I'm talking about right there. That's why I say that the government should not be involved in social media, because then once you allow them in, they'll do things like this. Once you say that you can't be discriminated against on social media and the government must come in to protect your rights on social media, then you got things like this being talked about. Right here, you shouldn't be dealing with the internet at all. Keep the government away from the internet. It's not illegal to have a picture of a gun, okay? The government should only be involved when something is going on that's illegal. If you got little kids, pictures or something like that, doing inappropriate things, that's when you get involved, but not for gun pictures. So that shouldn't go past the local courts, really. A picture of a gun, really? I mean, come on. And you know what? I'm kind of triggered about that because when I was going to college, I was in an art school, and I had to submit a piece of artwork to get to the next course because I had transferred. That's a whole different story. Anyway, it was these two gay guys. I don't care if they were gay, but they were like the heads of the art department, and they were married or something, or in a partnership, and they were big time liberals, white liberals. They saw my piece and they were like, well, the two of them, we don't like the imagery here. But they ain't come on and say it was guns, but I knew it was guns because the picture I made was all vector. I drew it on my computer with my mouse. It was all vector. It had like 8-bit graphics with like Mario Brothers characters, Koopas, stuff like that. And it had like little toy guns, like little cute little 8-bit toy guns. They rejected me from getting into the next level of my education because I had toy guns in the picture. I didn't know it was legal to do that. I thought it was just something that was nice and it was cool, and it showed my skill in actually being able to utilize a program that I was there to learn. So yeah, I'm triggered about that. That's just liberal hogwash. You definitely shouldn't be able to and then my question would be, what would be the punishment for that? What you gonna put somebody in jail over a gun picture? I mean, come on. And thank you to Faith Jones, who says, as long as Trump has a 92% rating with his voter base, this is a good indication he will get the same states he got last election. Trump will win again. That's a very good point. If he still has a lot of support from his base, the same folks who voted for him last time will vote for him again. And I think that he has new voters as well, people that got into his base recently. I talked to some guys that said that they became Trump fans after the 2016 election. They didn't even vote at all in the election, but they became Trump fans after the election was over. There's a lot of guys and girls that say that. So I think he'll be able to carry the same states and possibly gain new states. And there's no real Democratic challenger that's going to be able to really deal with him. Mike from Queens says Democrats want the illegal immigrants for the votes. 1,000% correct. Chuck on my ad, thank you for your donation. Christopher Baker says, instead of raising minimum wage, how about putting a limit on rent rates based on the percentage of the average local income? That and a profit margin cap on consumer products. I don't know about that one. I think that's kind of like the same thing. So I can't really agree with you on that one, boss. Thank you for your donation, though. A jet setter says a degree is a GED but costs as much as a car. Hey, that is 100% real. Thank you for that, man. And I thank you for your donation as well. But let me get to the calls. I know you guys have been waiting a little bit, but I want to get it off my chest. That was on my chest for a while. I wanted to get it off. Now, hopefully, the ring does not blow your ears out. So I'm going to put myself on mute right quick. Put the speaker, that's our speaker, on mute. Yeah, CNN says Trump's base are all white supremacists. That is hilarious. Let me get to my first call here. 530, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hold on, 530. I think I might be messing up. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me see. Okay, 530, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, not much. Thanks for doing the show. Hey, just wanted to say I have a bachelor's degree in economics, and it's basically worthless. Everything I learned in college is basically indoctrination, and my degree is 20 years old. I learned everything I know from real world, from mentorships, from people that know how the economy really works, how the banking system really works, and what they're teaching in school is just basically a way to keep us controlled and thinking that the system is actually not fixed. Well, in fact, it is completely manipulated. So I thought your explanation of how the economy works was actually perfect, how a product is priced. And these people in Washington, they, like I saw in so many comments on your chat feed, all they want is votes.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody cares about it. And the UBI is just more of the same. It's more of buying votes. Who can buy the most votes? And I just don't see any way out of this. I know I live in the Bay Area, which makes me super insulated and kind of depressed about the future as a conservative. But I'm almost to the point of just giving up, because who can you call? Who can you call to get change? You can vote. If those people don't get voted in, you're shut out.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really can do is vote. That's the best way for you. That's the only kind of voice you have, really, because that's how a lot of these ideas are being pressed forward by those that are in office. Because how else are they going to do it? They can do it maybe by social means, but I think that if you are a conservative, you have social means as well, because that's kind of what got Trump into the office to begin with. Because, I mean, let's be clear here. Trump had half of the money that Hillary Clinton had, half. So you would think if a person has half of the money, they automatically lose. But that wasn't the case, because he had so much ground support and so much support online through social means, he was able to win. That's how we got to go about it nowadays. Kind of abandon some of the old school ways by going door to door, knocking, get on these internets, get on the memes, have some of these get-togethers, and, do stuff like that. That's probably the best way forward to push the message and reach out to the kids, to young people. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people that are like high school, college, that are calling the show, saying that they watch, they really appreciate the content. When I was that age, I had no idea about politics. I wasn't even interested. I didn't really get involved until my mid to late 20s. So that's the best way going forward. It may seem kind of bleak depending upon where you live. Like you said, you're right there in the belly of the beast. So it may seem kind of bleak, but I think nationwide things are definitely improving.
No, I agree. And I just want to give a shout out to a local guy here. His name is Nuance Bro. Check him out. I saw him in the city during a protest. He was filming there. He's conservative. He's Arab, which is really confuses people when he interviews people because he's a conservative and he looks like he's from the Middle East. So it's hilarious seeing people when he interviews them. But I said, hey, you should check out ABL. You guys are very similar in your conservative bend, and check him out. I would love to see you guys have a show sometime. I think it'd be great. He's going to check you out as well. But I'll let you go, man. I know you got a lot of callers. Just wanted to say thanks again for all you do, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care, man.
All right, same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, like hold on. Y'all give me 1 second, because I thought I had that fixed, but I didn't. $301, you're the line. Who am I speaking to? 301, can you hear me?
Hey, JB, what's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Everything's everything. Hey, man, you hit the nail on the head with that $1,000 every month for everybody. You know how broke we would be if we did that? You know how many people live in the United States?
Yeah, people don't understand these simple things, though. They just don't get it. I mean, the guy just casually said, "Oh, it's going to cost us 1.8 trillion every year." I was like, man, come on. That's so much money. It's absurd.
Exactly. That's more than half the daggone budget everybody has. What the hell wrong with you, you moron? But see, he's rich, so he doesn't really care. He lives a $1 million life. That thing is, man. I'm not taking financial advice from a rapper or or a guy who's a nut saying everybody should get $1,000, including him. He's worth millions. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a pretty loaded dude.
And I'm saying, so man, then it's we can tax Amazon. Why does everybody else want to come after the companies that are making money? Don't you realize if you go after them, guess what happens? They're gonna cut jobs. They're gonna cut staff. All they're doing is rushing the automated systems to make them flip burgers, to make them do everything, and they're putting people out of jobs. See, it's a slow process, but the more they do these big tax cuts, and more and more you get these not that tax cuts, I mean, more they raise minimum wage, they are only rushing automated systems. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing.
And you know what's funny, because he keeps talking about automation being a bad thing. He wants to ring the automation alarm, but yet he's doing things that's going to bring in automation faster. So I don't understand. It's like, you trying to avoid automation, or are you trying to hasten it? Which one?
He's trying to hasten it because it benefits him. Conspiracy theory number one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, those people don't understand. And then And then I got an argument with my coworkers. I let a truck stop dude said Pence is gay because he don't want to talk to females while his wife in there. No, he's rather smart for me because, hey, I ain't got nothing. And I try to say as less as possible to females nowadays because I don't need no reports.
That's right. I mean, you just got to be smart. It's like, come on, like he's doing the right thing. You got this whole Me Too movement going on. Anybody can say, oh, this person back in the Stone Age, they touched me or whatever, and then automatically people believe it without any kind of proof, no kind of evidence. I mean, look what happened to look what happened to Brett Kavanaugh. This man had to bring out some calendars back then. He had to bring out like 100 women to defend him. But see, now everybody's going to have that kind of defense that he had. He was an ironclad, stomped down defense. Said, I was not there. Here's proof. But most guys don't have that.
Exactly. And then his thing was so mad is that it was Kamala Harrison saying all this stuff. Come on, you know what? The same one who sleeps with a married man, I wouldn't trust you anyway either.
That's
Your home record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything made me so mad. These people just jump on everybody's side just because they find offensive. You can't have it both ways, ladies. You can't have what's want to be around you. But you can't pick and choose you want around you. That's not how life works, young ladies.
That's
ladies.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, right? That's the big thing that makes me so annoyed with this time we're living in right now. Oh, did you hear about the drag kid that got the mom called child support? The CPS is coming after the parents. It's about time. Did you hear about that, ABL?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay. So remember that trans kid? What's his name? What the hell is his name? The one that was dancing in front of those the gay strip club.
Hey, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Somebody CPU caught a CPU caught up with him. The parents and the mother's crying and saying, we allow a kid to do what he wants to do. So you allow your kid to dance in front of grown men. You love your old son to strip in front of grown men and get money thrown at him. You are a bad parent. You're a bad parent.
Yeah, really. That's called human trafficking because, I mean, you're allowing this little boy to go out there and dance for money. I mean, are you getting a cut of the money too? That's called human trafficking. Like that whole thing, they need to go to jail. Everybody, all the adults involved with that need to get locked up right now.
Exactly. That's why I totally agree with that. And you all and was it you who wrote that? You had a story earlier about the drag queens reading in the library.
Yeah.
Was that you had?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
ABL, that's crazy. You ever do background checks for these people?
The guy was a sex offender. It was like, nah, come on, read to the kids.
Exactly. That's the crazy part. And the library like, well, we're sorry. We'll do better than that. No, what you need to do is cut that program out. It's crazy, and the parents participating that are sick. Who cares? I'm telling you, my grandson, my 13-year-old, my 20-year-old, when they was that young, they will never be around that kind of stuff. You experience stuff through life. You're not going to experience. I'm not going to rush the process.
Right.
Exactly. ABL. Oh, what level are you in Division 2?
You said what now?
What level are you in Division 2?
I'm still early. I'm like level 3 or 4. I just got it. Like I ain't had that much time to put into it. I'm like 3 or 4 right now.
I got to 7. Everybody's like, my buddy, he's like, I'm level 16. He got no life. That's why. All right, ABL. Have a good one, brother. Nice talking to you, brother, as always, brother. And keep the good work up, man. And I swear, if that crazy little gay dude from whatever it is from Houston calls again. All right, ABL. Have a nice one.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
So for some reason, I can't turn the ring off. Hold on, y'all give me 1 second. I'm determined to get that ring cut off right now. You guys can't hear it because I turned the desktop audio off, but I can hear it on my headphones, and it's really wearing me out. And the phone lines are going off the hook. Y'all, please bear with me. 1 moment. Okay, that should work. There we go. Mike for Queens, what's happening? Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
You know, the all of a sudden now the Electoral College is so inconvenient for the Democrats because you know what? They have no platform to run on. that's why they can't win.
Yeah, they have nothing. They have zero to run on. They're trying to find something. Well, I'll tell you what. Their whole platform is identity, race, gender. That's all they got. No actual real policies. But and the policies they do have are disgusting, like late term abortions and things like that.
Yeah, and what's his face? I think made a great point on one of his videos. I think it was either yesterday or today. Tim Pool, he was talking about on how, if you let's just say, like for instance, Colorado. Let's just say if a Republican wins the popular vote, but the Democratic candidate wins the the state of Colorado, they have to give their electoral votes to the Democratic candidate, even though the Republican won the popular vote. That's undercutting their electoral votes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty brilliant point that he brought up. And you're just talking about the the identity politics and the whole stuff with the constant stuff with the stuff against the white Christian male in the mainstream media. The guy I listen to a lot in the afternoons on the radio, Michael Savage, he calls a lot of the, like my grandfather, he calls them the Eddies. He goes the regular white guy, the regular white schmuck that went and fought Hitler, that beat Superman. Hitler talked about the about the Americans. They don't have the stomach to fight. All they're concerned about is eating hot dogs and playing baseball. And he makes the point. He always refers to us as the Eddies. He goes, Eddie's grandson. Keep doing this to Eddie's grandson. Because I don't think when Eddie's grandson gets fed up, you're not going to like when he strikes back. And you know what? We saw it in 2016. They came out to vote for Trump.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very great point.
I mean, listen. You know what? I think most everyday people, they're for helping everybody else. Affirmative action. Whatever these things are. But after a while, if you're constantly getting browbeat, you're going to get fed up of it. You're going to get fed up after a while.
Yeah, it's only so much you can take. I mean, it's like, okay, you let certain small things go, and it's not really a big deal. But then when it keeps happening over and over and over again, and then it gets to be more severe, then it gets worse, then it becomes more of a problem. At a certain point, you're going to say, okay, enough, no more.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I think a lot of people have forgotten what happened on September 11th because no one ever wants to address radical Islam. God forbid you made a comment about it. It's like, oh, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room that we can't talk about. Meanwhile, listen, I'm not condoning what happened last week, but you have how many Christians every day are slaughtered by radical Muslims? You had that case in Africa. What was it in Nigeria where they killed a bunch of Nigerian Christians? I don't know what country it was in Africa.
It was Nigeria,
not
yeah.
A word. Yeah, not a word. They were killed by radical Muslims. Not a word from the mainstream media. Crickets.
That's right.
And this is why the local street hooker on the corner, local prostitute on the corner, has got more integrity than the mainstream media.
That's real. That's 100% real.
And I'll just leave you off with this. This is my last point for the night. And this story too, not really getting a lot of coverage. I think Fox might have covered it, and I think One American News covered it. Was the victory in the Supreme Court yesterday for the Trump administration regarding the immigration, with allowing the government making it easier to deport people illegally.
Yeah, that was very good. That was excellent. I did see that. That's fantastic. Things like that don't get too much media coverage because it goes against the whole media narrative. Now, if the court had ruled against it, it'd have been all over the media because it fits their narrative. Oh, Trump gets defeated, he loses again, another loss. But they don't want to highlight the victories. They don't want to highlight the successes. Then they come out and say that he's not successful as a president. Well, according to the media, he is, but according to reality, it's just not the case.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another reason, just to add something on why the Democrats want to change the system with the Electoral College, they probably realize that even though Hillary won the popular vote, it was only because of all the illegal immigrants and all the fraud that took place in California and in New York. Other than that, I think Trump won the popular vote by maybe in a landslide.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You know, which constituted him winning 306 electoral votes, and that was a pretty considerable margin when you come to think of it. So, on that note, let me get going, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take it easy.
All right. Thank you to Mike from Queens for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 647 on the line. I'm going to speak to.
Yeah, this is Ivan.
All right. You there?
Yeah.
All righty. What's going on?
Not much. I've been listening to your show, and I gotta. So why you think Trump should be going after McCain though? Why he will do that?
Well, he wants to. That's what he wants to do. I'm not really sure, but what he said was right. So if what you're saying is right, then why not say it?
You're talking about the dossier was right, or?
Well, I mean, the dossier, the thing about him voting against the Obamacare repeal and replace.
Yeah, because he figured out that the bill wasn't going to be good for his constituents in Arizona. That's why he voted against it.
But why did he say that he was going to vote for it and then decided at the last minute?
If it was going to be a good bill, it was going to be a good bill that was going to benefit. If it wasn't a good bill, why I'm going to vote for something that's going to screw the people that represent me?
Well,
doesn't make sense.
Why wasn't it a good bill?
Well, do you know that the new bill, actually right now, do you know there's no protections, right?
Protections for what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to be educated about this thing. I know you tried to make money, bro.
Caller, I'm asking you to explain what you're saying.
Okay, the protections mean that insurance company can drop you from your policy now. And insurance company can deny you care if you have a certain precondition. That was covered on the Obamacare. Now it's being eliminated. So that means you're healthy right now and you, God forbid, got cancer tomorrow. The insurance company say, you know what? You no longer cover. And then they put in another pool that's going to cost you 5 times the cost or 4 times the cost.
So if that's true, then why was he going to vote for it in the beginning?
That's what I'm talking. A better bill.
No, but then, I mean, he was going to vote for it. So the same bill is what he was going to vote for. He said, yes, I'm going to vote for it.
No. Trump said was going to be that Trump said they wanted a good bill, a clean bill, that everybody was going to be insured, and it was going to keep the protections. But in order to do that, you need to have the mandate.
Sir, but my point is this: you're kind of like dodging that question.
You're not dodging anything.
The question is, if what you're saying is true, then why was let me finish the question, then you'll be able to answer. If what you're saying is true, then why did John McCain say he was going to vote for it?
If the bill was going to be a good bill.
No. I mean, okay, let me rephrase. Mm-hmm. If what you're saying is true, then why did John McCain say he was going to vote for that exact bill? Wait. Sir, let me finish. Sir, I gotta finish the question. Sir, I gotta finish the question. Sir, I gotta finish the question. Sir, I gotta finish the question.
Okay.
The bill was already there. McCain saw it, said, "Yeah, I'm gonna vote that. Yeah, we got you. I see it. I like it. Boom, I'm gonna vote for it." Then he says, "Nope, I ain't gonna vote for it."
These Congress people don't read these bills.
Okay, so whose fault is that?
Huh?
So whose fault is that?
Well, that's the bill. The bill was a bad bill. You should not vote for a bad bill. McCain for not voting for the
whose fault is it if John McCain did not read it?
John McCain.
Okay,
they don't read
if he didn't
understand that.
If he didn't read it, if he didn't read it, how do you know it was a bad deal?
It was a bad bill.
No, sir. The question. Wait a minute. Okay, you're saying it was a bad deal. Okay, that's fine. If John McCain did not read it, how did he know that?
You got to understand how Congress works. They don't read this bill because they have on.
Okay, we got it. Sir, hold on, sir. You said that congressmen don't read the bill, correct?
Most of them don't. Most of them don't.
Did John McCain read the bill?
My understanding, don't read the bill. They don't read the bill. The
answer is John McCain did not read the bill. Sir, let's follow me here. If John McCain did not read the bill, then how did he know it was a bad deal?
They get the summary. They get a summary of this bill.
But how does he know that? How does he know it's true?
No, but listen, you have to understand another thing. Sometimes, in order to pass these bills, they negotiate other issues. They might say, okay, if you help me to pass this bill, I'm going to give this to your constituents. You might give them, I don't know, maybe a new library, maybe a bridge, maybe a program. I don't know. That's what the way Congress works.
So he didn't read the bill.
Don't you believe if Trump would have said DACA, would have his wall, the big wall that he wanted, but because he said he didn't want DACA, he wanted to send it to the Supreme Court. The Republicans say, the Democrats say, you know what? You're getting shit now.
Oh, caller, can't curse, caller.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm not sure how we got the DACA and things like that, but my point is pretty clear. John McCain, you say he didn't read the bill, but for some reason he knew it was a bad bill because he got a summary. But he said, I got to finish talking. But he said, based on that summary, that yes, I will vote for it. But then he changed his mind at the 0 hour, talking about I'm not going to vote for it.
I'm not going to vote for it. It was a bad bill.
He did that to sabotage the bill because he wants to be against what Trump does. That's the only reason why he did it.
But
and Trump. Let's move on from that. Why did John McCain stay in the Senate when he was dying and knew he was dying? Why not just retire?
He decided to stay. That's his choice.
But why not retire when you have brain cancer? Aren't you doing a disservice to your constituency when you have brain cancer? How are you going to be a functional person with brain cancer in the Senate? You're in charge of writing laws, and you have the well-being of your constituency in the palm of your hands. Why would you do that when you have brain cancer and you're dying? Please explain to me why you would do something like that.
I don't know. Maybe he decided to stay. Maybe when he wanted to serve until he died. Maybe he made the promise that to continue.
Wouldn't it be a good thing for somebody that has brain cancer and is like 80-something years old on their deathbed to go ahead and retire? Wouldn't that be a good thing? Shouldn't you allow somebody that has a sound mind to come in there and take that job over, which is very important? Wouldn't that be the right thing to do?
Yeah, it will be better, but that's what he decided to do.
The question is, would it be the right thing to do? Sir,
asking about his grade.
You're muted. You're muted. Nobody can hear you. The question was, would it be the right thing to do?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he made a promise to his constituents. I don't know, but
okay. So if you had a senator, sir, if you had a senator that you knew was,
why you focusing on this dumb thing?
Sir, wait a minute. Let's just talk here. If you had a senator that you voted for who was dying of brain cancer, and you voted him in to actually pass laws to get things done, this dude's playing music. Okay, I don't got time for the hold. He put me on hold and then started playing some piano music. Okay, so I had to hang up on him, but that was fun. Now here's I'm gonna just finish my thought and then we get to the next call. Why would you be in the office with brain cancer knowing that you can't really function well? Wouldn't it be a good thing to go ahead and say, okay, I'm gonna retire, I'm gonna just fall back and let something else go on? Shouldn't that be what it is? Yeah, I think he probably had a phone call or something like that. You know, the people that kind of like want to troll, they call in like that a lot. It's funny. But let me get to my next call. Kerplunk, what's going on, boss?
My guy, Anthony, you getting any kind of echo or feedback from me at this point?
Oh, no, you're good money. You're good to go.
All right, man. Hey, it's good to have a voice of reason and a voice of opposition. Usually, so I'll commend that other caller. It was pretty brave of him to call into a show that might not receive him so well. That being said, I'll give him that. But he said bad words. He said naughty words, and I got to catch myself because I like to slip too soon. So, how you been, man?
Everything's been great, man. You can't complain about yourself.
I've been doing a lot of work. It's been a while since I called in. Maybe since last summer almost. A few things I wanted to unwrap for you. You put a nice little bow on top of everything. I want to unwrap a few things. For one thing, I believe Justice Kavanaugh was innocent.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, he had so much evidence in his favor. It was crazy. I mean, he had the calendars. He had all the women that supported him. It was like, 100 women that came out and wrote letters, got on TV. it was so much evidence in his favor. It made Christine Blasey Ford look like a total fool.
Oh, yeah, she's been in hiding, I think. So she said, "Oh, I had to sell my house and everything." I was like, well, I think most of that came from angry Democrats that she didn't do a better job framing some guy.
Yeah, I don't really feel sympathetic towards her, and she got plenty of money from a GoFundMe, so she'd be okay for at least a little while.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around $1 million last time I looked, and I just kind of lost interest in it. I mean, I lost interest about a week before they even made a final judgment. I already knew he was going to be confirmed, but that's that. And a few other things that were, the election in November, it worked out. Actually, I hear people saying, "Oh, the Democrats won." No, they really didn't win that much. It's just that the Republicans didn't lose as much as they thought they were going to. The Democrats thought that Republicans were going to lose a lot more than they did. They thought they were going to have the House, the Senate, and all this other stuff. But they had a couple extra seats in Congress, which really doesn't amount to a hill of beans, because all it did by them having a slight victory and just getting rocking the tide over the other direction in Congress was, they just get to vote on bills that may or may not ever make it to the Senate. So even if they get to the Senate, they're squashed, and all of this has created a whole lot of nothing. Nothing's going to get done. It'll be kind of like business as usual, but.
Yeah, I think it'll only be for the next couple of years, really, because when 2020 comes around, that's going to be a wrap, because people are going to vote down ballot. They're going to vote Republican all the way across the board. So they're just trying to so-called resist while they have the opportunity to do so. People like Ilhan Omar, AOC, they probably will be one-term people. And I think the Democratic Party may be the ones who make sure they're a one-term person.
Yeah, I hate to bring it. I call it one pump chump. Yeah, you said I couldn't cuss. I couldn't make euphemism. But look. Yeah, and it didn't take Ocasio-Cortez very long to get corrupted. With all this other stuff, there's a lot of money. She's in charge of trillions of dollars. In the oversight committee there, the spending oversight committee, the financial thing that she's been just blessed with. And she's already mucking up the water. She's already stirring the pot and getting the water all muddy and trying to spend $97 trillion in 10 years. She isn't, as far as that goes, and giving her boyfriend $6,000 or something. She should have waited longer and gave him more, because, it just came out way too early. Everybody, they're losing support left and right. Elizabeth Warren, with her rhetoric this week, dodging questions and things like that. I actually watched it because I thought it was funny. There was a former military. He said he was a lieutenant or a captain or something like that. She evaded a question that he asked about her lineage with the American Native, Indigenous, whatever they call themselves now. We call them Indians.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty interesting. She was like, "Well, I'm from Oklahoma, and my mom told me what I am, so that's what I am. That's what I know." It's like, man, come on, like. I can't imagine she would get up and look in the mirror every day and see just a regular white woman and be like, "You know what? I'm Native American." It's just like me going and saying, "You know what? I'm a white guy." I like, come on, man. Like, let's not play games. Like, she's obviously not Native, and keep trying to lie about it. She should just say, "You know what? I apologize. I'm sorry, and I won't do it again," and leave it at that, rather than trying to be like, "Well, that's what I was told." No, come on.
Well, here's something about me. My grandmother on my father's side reflects no name, no part of my last name, because she took my grandfather's last name. But she was 100% Mexican, and not the light skinned Mexican. She was one of the dark skinned Mexicans. Right. And there's racism going on down there in Mexico. She couldn't get a job in Mexico. That's why she came here and met my grandfather. They fell in love, and the rest is the story. And I was a product of that. But I don't sit there and say I was an Aztec.
Right, exactly. Like, I have, people in my family, like my great grandfather was mixed, black and Irish. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'm black still. It just happened to have some white, like some European ancestry. But let's just be real. And I want to see a picture of Elizabeth Warren's, ancestors that happen to be Native. I doubt we'll find any. We'll probably find pictures from the old country back in Europe, not anything here in the U.S. of A.
Yeah. Elizabeth Warren, she's all about my parents, MUH, my parents. Right. It's their fault. It's their fault she's lying to people. And she not just one application, 3 different applications, the Texas State Bar, her college, and her law school.
Yeah.
I mean, occasion she did. It's not an accident. You know, she did that on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So, and all right, enough about her. Ocasio-Cortez. What else did you have to unwrap this week? Well, the cows. The unhappy cows. There's a lawsuit for Twitter. Nunez is suing Twitter for $250 million over a couple of cow jokes.
Yeah, I don't know the details of that. I just saw that he was suing Twitter, but I don't know exactly what it's over.
It was one of our SH expletive T posters on our side. One of our deplorables, Kakistanis, I guess you can call them, went ahead and they were running little things on Twitter, little memes and stuff. And I'm sure you know about that. You've seen them before. But it had something about unhappy cows and something about he's utterly unhappy. And it had to do with utterly, yeah. So it had pictures of cows and just little words attached to it. And he's suing Twitter for $250 million for defamation and not policing the internet better. So that's what that's all about. I mean, just a little bit. I read it. You know who Gary Franchi is?
No.
All right, he's on YouTube here. He's a YouTuber. He's Next News Network.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Gary Franchi. He's on a tie. He does pretty much. He does a pretty good job. Very professional, and all he does is report. But he's definitely a conservative. He flies the flag behind him, and he reports on things just like a regular news reporter should. You know.
Right. Yeah.
He's not in the style of Alex Jones or any of the other goofballs that are on there. The National, whatever the guy. They're not in that style. He doesn't really just bash people. He just reports it. And, he's got his little thing. Shapiro's got his little tumbler thing, and Crowder's got his mug club. You got your cup. I might be able to afford a coffee cup. I'm gonna get some merch off you. I like the ABL coffee cup. I like the black one. And I know it's not a cultural appropriation to say that.
No, not at all. They're on the site. I think they're like $8, if I'm not mistaken. Or $8 or $10, I think it's like 15. Pardon.
That's okay. Even at $15, it's still affordable. I mean, a Crowder's mug cost you $100.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So there was a lot to unwrap. I'm just glad to see you're still doing what you're doing. I do catch a show every once in a while. I'll poke in and make a few weird comments, and I know sometimes it was zips past you. You get a lot on your plate. I tried to get in there last week. And there's one of your special guys there, the Trump parody guy. You check out his channel?
Yeah.
That's some good stuff right there. I like that.
Absolutely. Shout out to him.
He talks like this. Not one, not two, but three. I dig that. I dig that. What a character. I love him. Anyhow, So. And he subscribed to my channel. Would you know that? He subscribed to my channel. And
that's how it is, man. That's how you go about it, man. Do the good networking and marketing.
I like it when everybody shares alike. Back in the early days of YouTube, I mean, I got on there a long time ago. And I've got 2 different accounts. And I've always used this one. This is my Gmail account. This is the one I have attached to my Gmail that I've had since 2006 or something.
Gotcha.
But I've had a YouTube channel for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now at least. And back in the day, people used to share and subscribe to each other's channels before anybody got famous or made a lot of money on this or anything like that.
Things change when money get involved, man. But I got to get to a few more calls on the line, so thank you for the calls always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I would like to see is more people out there making more content and spreading the message and getting it across, and not only sharing it with conservatives, because it could be easy to have an echo chamber, but to share it on your other social media platforms.
Exactly.
Make sure you hit the like button, smash on that share button, and make a comment below, because that's gonna help our buddy ABL out. All right, Anthony, you have a good day, and God bless. Always over my left shoulder. Peace.
All right, thank you to my man Kerplunk for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to the super chatters right here. Shout out to Metal Dog S, who says the Democratic Party are sore losers. Love your vids, ABL. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Let me get to my next call. Jordan, what's going on, boss?
Nothing much. What about you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah. Just for chat to know, I'm alive. I've been gone for a while, but I've been so busy lately. But now I'm back, so I'm here to entertain you all.
Good man.
What was I going to discuss? The Twitter lawsuit. You know, I would like to see. I feel like seeing a lot of lawsuits lately, trying to fight back against sort of, I think, the ridiculousness of today's culture, like with the Twitter lawsuit and the Vic Mañana lawsuit, which, by the way, has funded its goal of $100,000 for his lawsuit, but has also some interesting stuff has popped up, stuff that might result in criminal activity, like maybe some criminal activity involved in all of it.
Oh, really?
And then you got a bunch of other ones. And I think if we can utilize the law to our advantage when things like these happen, we can achieve great things, justice, as far as I'm concerned, because I think the Twitter lawsuit, for example, is absolutely necessary. Because after what I saw in the Tim Pool and Joe Rogan discussion with that Indian woman and Jack Dorsey, I think she's full of herself, that she's not being entirely honest. And when she talks about we have to look at context, she doesn't care. Context, I mean, even with context, people's Twitter profiles will still get suspended and whatnot. I think it's about time that a lawsuit sort of gets put in place and see what happens. Like if they can prove that there's no bias, that's fine, you know. But other than that, I really want to see what's going on in Twitter, because this is kind of a big issue now.
But like, where does it actually end up? Because when you're talking about these lawsuits, I mean, how will it actually fix the issue? Because my thing is, unless you really identify Twitter as some kind of utility or have the government get involved, what are you really going to do as far as the anti-conservative bias? We could point it out, we could say that it exists, and we can acknowledge it, and we can try to do something else. But what are you really going to actually do to Twitter to get them to change course when it comes to the government and lawsuits and things like that? Maybe
nothing. Maybe it's just a matter of I think there's this process for defamation called discovery, where it's like the court case or whatever happens might not even happen. It's just a matter of forcing Twitter to find out what it's really all about. And maybe if they find bias, they would have to and this is just conjecture, make your own social media to avoid it. That's just the best I can come up with. I personally don't know what's going to happen as this lawsuit happens. I just don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. But one thing I don't want to see is the government come in and try to control things, because when the government gets involved, that's when things get worse. I mean, some people may think that the government may come in and do what we want them to do, because right now we got Trump in office and we get a lot of power. But I fear for what happens when the government gets involved with things that the private sector has always been able to come up with and innovate on their own. So that's just my view.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's happening with video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, when, after the whole Battlefront thing happened, the government now is coming in and putting ratings and stuff on. I didn't want that to happen. I wanted that market to be its own little, community, but apparently it can't, because people abuse their powers, and now we're at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. About Andrew Yang, there's a great YouTube channel called Don't Walk Run Productions. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a channel with this guy who basically goes around and, points out all the flaws with people like the plans of Cortez and Yang and a bunch of other people. And it's such in detail and it's so good. I know I'm shilling for him, but you all should check it out. And he goes through why Andrew Yang's plan is such BS. And he does a good job. Like, Andrew Yang, I think while he was talking with like both the Breakfast Club and Joe Rogan, he talked about Milton Friedman supporting a UBI, which isn't true whatsoever. It's not true.
Okay.
And Milton Friedman supports what's called a negative income tax. What that means is that people who make below a certain income, they end up getting supplementary money from the government. But it's not like welfare where you have to give food stamps or SNAP or anything like that. It's just money that you can do whatever you want with. Because that way the government doesn't have to allocate what exactly you can spend what would be your tax money on. because this assumes that poor people don't pay taxes. The problem is that this isn't a UBI because people, two reasons. One, only in this hypothetical negative income tax world, only poor people don't pay taxes.
Right.
And it's only poor people that get this money. But in this UBI that Andrew Yang's talking about, everyone gets it.
Right. So it's basically like the whole thing about the negative income tax. It's kind of like a different version of welfare that exists right now. It's income controlled and it's for people to help them, just have basic things. Poor people that make below a certain amount of money. It's the same kind of way welfare is, but it's probably less complicated than welfare. You just get cash to do whatever you want with, rather than these individual programs. Not a whole UBI system where everybody gets the money.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it is. It's the government doesn't control what your money goes to. You do. And it's up to you to determine if you want to benefit from it or not, or you can just stash it somewhere, which is what he talked about. Another point that I wanted to mention, he thinks that this money that people save, like he says, $1,000 a month, will go to people, and that money is based off of the taxes of a value tax from the corporations, and they're expected to use that money to stimulate the economy by giving it to these corporations. And it's kind of weird. And I would have thought it was a good idea. But remember, we kind of tried this before and it didn't do so well. Back in the recession in 2008, there were these things called stimulus checks.
I remember those. Man, and all type of weed and everything else got bought with that little bit of money.
Oh, yeah. And what they realized was they wanted to use it to stimulate the economy, but it didn't. Instead, people paid off debts or just stored the money somewhere. They didn't put it in the economy, and that's why the recession kind of didn't recover as fast as it probably should have. And so I don't know. This UBI thing is not so certain. It's under a bunch of assumptions about society, and I don't know if he's right about those assumptions.
He's not right. He's not right, because the one thing that kind of stood out to me was when he was talking about how the UBI would decrease the amount of money spent on incarceration and homelessness. I was like, come on, man, you're not thinking at all, because people that are homeless aren't really homeless for money most of the time. Money is a part of it, yes, but it's not really the sole reason. Giving a person on the street more money won't really solve their homeless problem, because most homeless people, once you get down to the core of it, are on the street for their own choice, and it's usually drugs, alcohol, or some kind of mental illness. That's why they're homeless, because they can't function really in society properly that somebody who has a house would be able to do, or some kind of apartment or whatever. So to say you're going to get somebody money and they're not going to be homeless anymore, or it's going to reduce the problem, doesn't make any sense. In San Francisco, they spend like $38,000 per homeless person. That's like a salary right there. But so if they spend 38 grand per homeless person, what's 1,000 more going to do if they're still homeless? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, money. You have to learn how to utilize that money to your own advantage. You have to keep making money somehow. Otherwise, you're just going to end up in the exact same position as before. It's just, you're never going to be able to get out of poverty if money is just given to you and you don't use it to your advantage. Mm-hmm. Somebody say corporations don't pay taxes. Yeah, corporations pay very little taxes. But I think Andrew Yang wants to implement that in some way. That's my idea. But I have to look more into that. But another thing is, like, he talked about truckers maybe losing their jobs because of automated self-driving cars and trucks.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, that's not how it works. I mean, it's not like you're going to have like a self-driving car with nobody in the driver's seat. Somebody's supposed to operate it. It's supposed to make their jobs easier. It's not going to have them lose their jobs. They just have to learn how to utilize that technology.
It's like flying the airplane, because most planes really fly themselves, but you're not going to have passengers in pilotless airplanes. You still got pilot, co-pilot. But most of the time the plane flies itself most of the time. So, that's what happened when these plane crashes. They're saying that the autopilot did too much and it overcompensated and it was faulty. But usually Once you get into a plane, once it gets up in the sky and it's in the air, it's flying itself. But it's not going to be pilotless.
Exactly. So I don't understand the whole I mean, there are jobs that will be lost with automaton, but there are other jobs that don't require it. And some that still need the utilization of human beings in order to operate right. So his whole concern with automaton might be a little fear-mongering in a way.
And the thing about automation is that it has also created more jobs, because think about what kind of jobs were available before the smartphone existed and now after. I mean, you got Uber, Lyft, you got Uber Eats, you got DoorDash, you got all kind of things. You got people that program apps for the phone.
Exactly.
It's all kind of money that's generated. I mean, look at what Kim Kardashian, a lot of her money comes from her cell phone game. These things weren't even available, 10 years ago, and the way they are right now, people may think, oh, you're trying to kill the newspaper industry, you're trying to kill a television industry, but more things come as a result. I mean, think about back during the time of the farming age in America, when 90% of America was agrarian. When they came out with tools to make farming more efficient, they would say, "Oh, I'm not gonna have my job anymore. I'm not gonna." But now, you have more jobs that are created. When the guy that would bring around the ice truck, he would just have blocks of ice in his little truck. He would come to people's houses and drop it off. But when they invented the refrigerator, he was like, "Okay, I won't have a job anymore." But now you have whole big grocery stores. People work in the grocery stores. You got people that. It's so many jobs that are created as a result of automation that you can't see right now. All you see is that the particular job that may be replaced right now is not there anymore, but you don't see the future innovation. When you have the government involved with everything, you're not going to innovate. That's what happens under communism, socialism, or whatever. No innovation.
Exactly. Somebody said Yang is living in 2040. I agree. I agree. But one more thing before I go, because I'm not going to take up too much of your time. About the Lynn Patton thing, because I wasn't there to comment on it. It was very funny that people are going to trust Michael Cohen, a guy who has been charged with tax fraud, bank fraud, perjury, and abusing campaign finances and a bunch of other things, because he called Trump a racist and all sorts of stuff that they will want to hear. But then you have like Lynn Patton, who is this pretty much regular black woman who, from what I can tell, hasn't committed any crimes and stuff. Under her own volition, goes and speaks up for Trump, saying, "Hey, Trump is a cool guy. He's not this racist guy." And then they treat Michael Cohen like a saint, and then they treat Lynn Patton like a prop in their eyes.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, it's sad because people talk about tokenism. It's funny, they talk about tokenism in some areas, not in others. Like, they will defend any sort of tokenism in something like the Last Jedi movie, but not in other places. It's kind of sad.
Right, exactly.
But it's kind of like the war on drugs. It's like the people say, like, the reason why the war on drugs happened is because Nixon hated black people. Even his right-hand man said so. That's been disputed, because the guy who said that, his name is John Ellerchman. He's a notorious liar. He went to jail for perjury and obstruction of justice during the Watergate scandal. He went to jail and Nixon didn't. So he has perfect reason to say something like that. I mean, would you rather have three people believe him, or would you rather have three other people in the Nixon administration who weren't co-conspirators in Watergate who all say that's not true, he has no idea what he's talking about?
Exactly, man. I'm right there with you. But thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
Not a problem. Have a good stream, ABL.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, thank you to Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Now, somebody was trying to call in. I saw them in the chat. What's this, Alexander? I can't see your name again because it flew past. But you're trying to call in. What is your area code? If I can tell your area code, I may be able to get you in. All right. Random Jasmine says, if automatic vehicles are going to be the norm, what will happen to people who do side hustles for share riding delivery services like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Postmates, etc.? Well, we're not quite at the stage where we're going to be able to have driverless cars on the road just normally. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're at the stage where you may have somewhat, like kind of like autopilot in your vehicle. Like my man Ivan has a Tesla and it can pretty much drive itself, but you can't have a Tesla with nobody behind the wheel. It's got to be a human being in the car at a certain point. So, you know, I mean, we're not at the stage where you could just have totally driverless cars. And at that point, once you're able to get to just nobody behind the wheel, then I think you have more of a mass transit system. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to envision the future now. It's kind of hard to see into the future before it actually happens. You know, that's just kind of how that works. But yeah, I'm not even really worried about it because there's always new technology that comes about. Things that happen, things that were available before are not available anymore. It just is what it is. Oh, that's right, Janice. The world going to end in 12 years anyway, so it doesn't even matter. You know, what's the point in trying to actually fix anything since we're going to be all gone in just a little bit of time? 828 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi there. This is Janie.
All righty. What's happening?
From North Carolina. I just had a couple of things I wanted to say. First, I love your show. But I was still watching about, the New Democrat thing, their platform, and one of them was reparations. All right. I don't know how all that would work. And I got to thinking, my great-great-great-grandparents came from England as a type of slaves that they came with their owners. And they were white. And they lived with them in Virginia. And it's like my grandmother and grandfather ended up having 5 children before they could buy their way into getting married and then moving on. So I think, I wonder how that works and who's going to pay for all of that, even if it did. All right, that's one thing. The other thing was about the border and the illegal immigration. I just don't understand unless there is big money in drugs and in human trafficking coming over that border, that people don't want to see it closed off and people come in the right way. And I heard you say it, how millions or billions of dollars are spent each year on these illegal immigrants when we have homeless people and homeless children and, money that could be better spent within each community to build that community up. And all the right, and everybody come through the right way. I don't begrudge anybody coming in the right way. But to not want it done that way, there has to be somebody somewhere paying money off to big politicians. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it's about. I think the main thing is just trying to get those votes. The votes are very valuable. And if you can get a lot of people pretty much in a what kind of a captive audience, then it's easy just to say, all right, you guys are going to vote this way. That's going to help you win whatever kind of election you want to win.
And how can they even consider for 1 minute letting somebody who is illegal to vote in any election when they're not supposed to be in this country? And I'm pretty sure that we as Americans, if we went over to Mexico or to any country, we would not be able to vote in their election.
That's right.
And if we're found to be illegally in their country, they're probably not even going to be as generous with us as we are with the illegals that, that come through.
Oh, not at all. It wouldn't happen.
But I just think that the politicians, and especially California, I really believe that California, they can't take care of their own state. They're probably in the most debt of any other state, maybe, that is in actually a deficit. And how can they want to be a sanctuary city? And how in the world can you protect a illegal immigrant that is a criminal? I just don't get that. But I really like your show, and that's all I wanted to say. I just had a few things on my mind. And I did see an article where Nancy Pelosi and them spent millions on office furniture and golf carts and all these things and did not want to give it back to the government because they were so afraid that they would cut their budget for next year because they didn't use all the money that they had for this year. And I think that might be on the, their website, the government website.
Oh,
But I do appreciate your time, and I've been trying to get on here for a good while, but you do a great job, and you have a great night.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, shout out to the caller. Great caller. Yeah, a lot of these people, yeah, they're trying to spend all their money. Yeah, that's common for them. You know, just trying to spend all the money they can. It doesn't matter that it comes from the American taxpayer. You know, we'll take all your money. We'll just waste it so we can get more of your money next time. I mean, imagine that. You're paying money to the government, and they're actively wasting it, and they're just doing it right in front of your face and say, yeah, we're wasting your money, burning it. We'll take your money from you, gunpoint, and then burn it right in front of your face. I mean, it's crazy, but hey, it is what it is. We should be trying to get less and less government expenditures on the books. Alexander Mango, you wanted to call in, boss? Go ahead and call in. Drop your area code. If anybody's calling in, drop your area code in the box, and I'll get to you. But let me get to my next call here. Nepin, what's going on, boss?
Not much. How you doing?
Everything is good. Can't complain.
Let me just mute the live stream.
Alrighty.
There we go. Yeah. Now Pocahontas wants to abolish the Electoral College.
That's right.
Now let me say this: it's not going to work in their favor if the Electoral College is abolished.
Not at all. It'd be hilarious.
Because he will end up winning states that are safe, democratic as well. He'll end up winning California, the entirety of the Northeast.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if he wins the popular vote this time too. That'd just be funny. I mean, they went through all of that and tried to change the Electoral College or abolish it, and he still won.
New York, because like places in the Northeast are mainly rural, but the cities are so big that they have all the power.
Yeah, it's like that in a lot of different places. Yeah, it's like
that. And then they're all gonna excuse me.
You all right?
Yeah, and then they're all gonna vote Democrat.
Right, exactly. That's kind of how it is everywhere.
It's time. Basically, I've heard a lot of people from Texas complaining that Texas is turning into another California.
Yeah, a lot of places are in Texas because of all the Californians moving into Texas, escaping California. They're escaping California because of all the high taxes, the illegal immigration, the crazy job situation. And then they come to Texas and vote the exact same way they did in California. It doesn't make any sense. You can't bring the California liberal values to Texas. You're going to have more of the same problems.
Yeah, and a lot of people from Illinois are moving to Tennessee.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, I see them. I see them here too. I saw a lady. I saw a lady in her car with nothing but Chicago Cubs apparel on in her car. She had an Illinois license plate and a Chicago Cubs hat, shirt, scarf, everything.
Did you see? I mean, back in November, did you see how close Tennessee was to voting for Phil Bredesen? She did not win by a comfortable margin.
Oh, you talking about Marsha Blackburn?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the actual gap.
I did. I watched an entire live stream. It was not by a comfortable margin.
But see, Bredesen is kind of a weird. Bredesen is kind of because he was already the governor and he was a Republican before. So I think
no. You're wrong. He was a lifelong Democrat.
Oh, he was a Democrat the whole time?
Yeah, he was never a Republican.
So who changed? I thought somebody. It might have been Corker. Well, Corker's quitting now.
Corker was a never Trumper anyway.
Yeah, Corker quit, so he's never a Trumper. But I think it all worked out. I mean, we have.
Yeah, but she did not win by a comfortable margin. I saw an entire live stream where all the winners were coming.
Yeah, but see, he was a governor before. I know he was a governor before. Some people might have just recognized him from that rather than Marsha. But Marsha definitely, I had confidence she was going to win. But you're right, it wasn't by a very big margin. But I don't see us.
It was a razor thin margin.
Yeah, I don't see us turning blue because the only city that might have a really big impact is Nashville. Aside from that,
well, at least not for another 50 or so years, maybe, because demographics change.
Yeah.
Like, put it this way, the last Republican to win the South won it in 1876. But then it was Democrat for the next 100 years. And then Jimmy Carter was the last Democrat to win the South. And that was in 1976.
Yeah.
So you see a trend going. So it could be by the 2070s, the South is blue and the North is red.
Right.
Do you see what I'm? Do you see the?
It could
trend.
switch like that, but I'm not really sure. I think that the way things
Demographics change.
Demographics do change. Yeah.
Like, trust me, I've seen. I've looked at this and I've looked at this history. So yeah, on our end, virtue signaling. You know, like you have virtue signaling in like basically every sport in America.
Yes, of course.
It's come to England as well.
Okay, so how was it exist in England? How is it manifested over there?
Are there any people from England in the chat right now? You might want to type if you are.
Yeah, I don't know. If anybody's in the chat from the UK, put it in the chat. Any Englanders?
Yeah, anyway. Now, there was one football star who said hashtag people's vote on his Twitter.
Now, what does that refer to, people's vote?
Yeah, that... it was like the Labour Party's slogan for Brexit.
Okay.
Like for another referendum.
Oh, okay. So basically,
yeah,
you're trying to like get out of Brexit, basically.
No, he wants another referendum. This football star. I mean, I bet every person who earns a lot of money does.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and then the BBC made up a complete lie about what a Russian footballer said about black people.
What did they say he said?
There was this Russian footballer. Sorry, I call it football. It's not soccer. Yeah, there's this Russian football player who said that, well, the BBC quoted it as if, like, no Russian, the BBC said, it was completely twisted. The BBC claimed that the football player said black people are an embarrassment to Russia.
But what did he actually say?
He said that naturalized citizens of Russia should not be allowed to represent Russia as a football team.
Right. So basically, people that came there.
He's absolutely right.
So basically, to make anybody in the chat so they understand what's going on, he's talking about anybody that came there after they were born. People that weren't born Russian citizens should not be able to represent Russia. And that makes sense because that makes sense because over here in America, you have here's a prime example in basketball. You have a guy named Kosta Koufos. He is Greek, but he was born in America, but he's still able to go over to Greece because he's Greek nationally, like his parents are Greek, like he's Greek ethnically. So yeah, I mean he still represents Greece. You know, he's not. So I see where they're going with that. It's kind of like being also like John McCain or Ted Cruz. They were born to U.S. parents. That's why they're U.S. citizens. Even
Germany have gone into this whole virtue signaling thing because two of their all-time greats were not German at all. I mean, they played for Germany, but that didn't make them German. Their all-time leading goal scorer was actually Polish.
Right.
His name was Miroslav.
Okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Miroslav is not a German name.
No, it's not. That does not sound German to me. It sounds like something else.
Fair enough. He was born in Poland, but he moved to Germany when he was 18 years old, got a German passport, and decided to represent Germany.
Right. Yeah. So it's like it doesn't even really mean anything anymore. If you have just countries, it could just have anybody come to it. It's like having just like an NBA team where you could just join the team. It doesn't really matter where you came from. if you're going to be a country team, it should be about, citizens, people that are from the country, really.
And that was a huge detriment to Poland, because look at what they missed on. That man was part of a World Cup winning side for Germany.
Okay.
So and then before I take too much of your time, there's that, and then the newspapers just there was this thing, like one German footballer said about his teammates, saying, okay, his teammate is of Turkish origin, his teammate is a Muslim. Now the German FA said something about him meeting Erdogan, but then he twisted it, not the German FA. The German footballer twisted it by saying they were being racist. No, you met with a president, or should I say a dictator, known for jailing political dissidents.
Yes.
And you expect for the German national team to take it lightly.
Right, of course. I mean,
that German footballer went to the European Parliament and completely twisted their words and turning them out to be racist. Islam is not a race.
Exactly. It's pretty clear, but it's nowadays people just say whatever they want to say to push a particular narrative. It doesn't have to be true. They can say whatever they want, twist your words into a totally different thing to just push their own narrative.
And one of his teammates called Tony, and he was absolutely right by saying his claims of racism are complete rubbish. They're rubbish.
Exactly.
It was not racism. It was Islamophobia. Islamophobia is not the same as racism.
Exactly, 100%, man. But thank you for the call as always, man. Got to get to a few more. It's always good to have you call in.
Can you just tell me quickly about that the lawsuit? And we'll catch up with Trump, McCain, and Andrew next.
Well, it's kind of a long story, so I think somebody else will explain it. But I got to get to a few more calls, man. So thank you for those calls as always.
We'll talk about that next week. I'll try and remember it.
Next week, yeah. Tell me about that next week.
Yeah, remind me.
I got you, boss. Thank you for the call as always.
It was nice speaking to you, ABL.
All righty, likewise.
And I'll see you on Sunday.
All right, see you then.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, Nippy, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. When he says Sunday, he means Saturday, but he's in UK, so it's Sunday his time. It's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning over there right now. No, actually, it ain't that late. It's like it's not the same time over here. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning over there. So to him, it's like the next day and early in the morning. But to us, at least on the East Coast, it's like 9:45. If you're on the West, it's like, what, 6:45? If you're like in LA, places like that. But if you're in Arizona, what time is it over there? I know you guys don't switch for daylight savings time. It was crazy. When I was in Phoenix, we got up at like 5:30 a.m. It was totally bright and sunny. It was like, what is this? What in the world? Where am I at right now? This is crazy. 5 hours ahead. Okay, 5 hours ahead over there in UK. All right. Thank you to the super chatters. Big at Metal Dog S, who says the Democratic Party are sore losers. Love your vids, ABL. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. I read that earlier, but hey, I'll read it again. It's all good. Thank you, RB, for your donation. And shout out to the American Joe Show, who says, not saying you're Hillary Clinton and this is pay for play, but how about a little collab, ABL? Hey, man, we could do that. Ain't no problem, man. Hit me in the email, and I'll try to respond to you as soon as I can. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you, boss. But let me get to my next call here. 901, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, great. This is my name is Keith. I'm calling from Memphis.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Man, I just want to say I love your channel, and I think you're doing a great job. And I want to say that I think the Democrats have lost their freaking mind. I think what they want is, I think they want places like New York and L.A. to run the country. And I don't understand why they don't want the rest of the country to get what they deserve. You know, I mean, we're not just one state. We're several states put together. That's why we're America. And I was just wondering, do you think that the far left is funded by outside groups in the Democratic Party?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. There's a lot of outside money that goes into the far left because, I mean, I have one prime example that I can point to that can be proven. It's not even a conspiracy theory or anything like that. Let's look at the Young Turks and look at how people like Cenk Uygur, the leader, the big dog over there, is involved with AOC. He's involved with the PAC that funds that funded AOC throughout her actual so-called rise to stardom. What was that, the brand new Congress or whatever? He was behind that. He was the big money guy behind that. Then where is he getting his money from? The Young Turks is funded by the Qatari government, or if not the Qatari government, a lot of money from Qatar, whatever you want to call it, over there, like right off of Saudi Arabia. So if the Young Turks are getting money from Qatar into their business, and then Cenk from the Young Turks is funding the brand new Congress, then one must ask themselves, what is AOC doing that's going to impact or help Qatar, the Young Turks, the country of Turkey? I mean, follow the money and see where it goes, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about big sums of money, it's got to come from somewhere, and people are going to want something for it. At a certain point, maybe they do it in kindness and say, here's some money. But some may say, if you want this money, I need X, Y, and Z done. So that's what that is.
Yeah, they're definitely going to bend over backwards to make sure they do what their master's telling them to do.
Pretty much.
I imagine they would, because they're being paid off. I mean, you're not going to do what the people want. You're going to do what the bosses who paid your way to get there want.
That's right.
And say it's for the people. See, that's what I hate. And, and this talk of taking away the Second Amendment and all that stuff, that's dangerous. The only reason we don't get invaded is because we have the Second Amendment. If you notice, our military is stretched all over the world. And the only reason that we don't get invaded is because most of the people here have a gun. So, the people are the reason we don't get invaded, not the military, honestly.
That's right.
I mean, the military is great and they do a lot of stuff, but we're stretched out all over the globe. Even though we have a lot of bases, we're still stretched out. Right. We don't have a standing army on our soil except for just a few main bases. That's it.
Exactly. That's the thing. People don't understand. It's like, okay, the military, they're going to be able to defend us, and that's correct. But what if there was some kind of land invasion by, let's say, China? I mean, it's not going to be an easy fight. You got 350 million guns out there in the wild at minimum. And then you have people that know how to use other weapons. You got all kind of militia groups. You got regular citizens that go to the gun range. It's not going to be an easy fight. You can't come over here and just knock us over like that, because we're too armed. And we got the military. So it'd be a useless effort.
If we were to get invaded, the first places they'll take over is Los Angeles and New York and places like that, because they don't have any guns to defend themselves. They'll take them over, and then they'll ask the South, like they always do, to come and fight their stupid war and save their butt, which is what they always do. If you notice, whenever they go to start a war, wherever it is, they come to the South first, because we're the poorest place, because they're still punishing us from the Civil War.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you go, man. I know you're busy. Thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. I've been trying to call for weeks, but this is the first time I've ever got through. Have a nice night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Keep on doing what you're doing. Thanks.
All right, will do. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to the call. Glad he was able to actually get on. So shout out to him for sure. But let me get to my next call here. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you forget the number, it is always in a ticker at a certain point. Not right now, but it's also in the description box below the video. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Yeah. So about the automation thing, I am worried a little bit about the automation. Like, for instance, having those electronic cashiers at grocery stores and fast foods, because I think that's taken away jobs from the high school students, which I believe that if you get them working early, then they could teach them hard work. But at the same time, when you're increasing technology, somebody need to fix them. So why not go to some type of technical school to fix these machines?
Right. I mean, and there's so many things that get created as a result. So many new jobs that get created as a result of innovation, of automation. Just like the cell phone. I mean, there's so many things people may have been afraid of. They're talking about, oh, the cell phone is going to kill the landline industry. It's going to kill, like, people when Uber came out, or was killing taxi cabs. It's always something new is going to get created. That's just how things are. I mean, think about back in the days when you had farms. People may have getting nervous when the plow, when the tractor came along, when the cotton gin came along. Or we can't pick cotton no more. We won't be able to do that. There's always a new thing that comes along that makes life easier, and it also creates new jobs that are around it. But it's hard to see the future right now. All we can see is the jobs that are going to be lost. We can't see what's going to happen as far as innovation is concerned as a result of having new technology at your fingertips.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah. So do you know this person named Red Elephant, the YouTuber Red Elephant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was on Jesse Lee Peterson show debating your boy.
Yeah,
Destiny.
I saw some of that. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. So what do you think about it?
I think from what I saw that Destiny got wrecked. I mean, my man Red Elephant came with a book with printouts. We was reading articles. It was like, well, Destiny, here's an article right here that just proves your point. I was like, wow. And Destiny trying to fumble with his phone, looking for stuff. It's like, all right, Destiny, like, there's no point of just put your phone in your pocket, sir. This man can't prepare, and you didn't. So he was right on it with the whole thing about gun control, because one point that I saw in the piece that I saw in the beginning was where Destiny was saying that a lot of the guns that are in Chicago are purchased illegally in Indiana. But Vincent James was like, look, man, it's already illegal to do that. It's illegal to take a gun from Indiana and then bring it into Illinois and Chicago. That's already illegal. You can't do that. But yet it still happens. So how are you going to have more gun laws when the current gun laws are not being followed?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you're just going to punish the people who's doing the right thing. And Destiny was trying to twist to say that, well, no, these guns were purchased legally. Well, yeah, they were purchased legally, but eventually those guns were used illegally. Like how you mentioned, how they bought it from Indiana but transported it back to Chicago.
Right. It's just like people that have people that buy and sell, legal drugs. I mean, a lot of the drugs, like most of the drugs that are being sold right now on the street are legal, but it's illegal to sell them on the street. You have to go to a doctor, but yet they're still out there. So that's a problem. It's not the fact that they're legal. It's how they're being sold illegally.
Yeah. I like the part where Destiny said that, well, you take if you add these guns, then basically the guns will cause more crime, and then it will lead to more accidental shootings of the kids getting hold of the guns by the parents and stuff, all that type of stuff. And it's funny how Red Elephant pulled out 6 states who had a conceal and carry laws, and they have the least amount of crime.
That's right. Yeah, that was pretty funny how he pulled that out. I mean, it's simple. Like, the guns ain't the cause of the actual crime. I mean, the guns, like, Destiny just thinks that you can wait for Magic Wand, make guns illegal to purchase, and then there'll be no more crime. That's not even really yet.
Actually, I think the problem is because I think Destiny showed to me what the problem is. He mentioned that he doesn't know how to deal with the problem of evil. And I think that's the prime thing why we have this whole gun issue thing, because people are either not dealing with the problem of evil or don't know how to deal with it. And because of that, the ones who are being punished are the ones who are actually following the law. So because you don't know how to deal with the problem of evil, what you're going to do is going to punish the people who's going to be hurt by some type of evil cause. And Destiny said, well, just because they committed some type of crime doesn't mean that they're evil. No, we're not saying that, but the act that they did is evil. So how can we prevent that? And I don't think that people are dealing with that. It's, especially have you seeing Great Britain, how their murder rate is higher than New York City, and they're just using knives.
That's right.
It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like they're trying to. They're not even trying to treat the cause. They're trying to treat the system. But with the way they're going about it, they're not even treating the system. It's just spreading like a virus.
Correct. 1,000% correct.
Yeah, man. Also, the whole Donald Trump and the McCain thing. Where were they when McCain was alive? Last time he was alive, he was a racist, right? That's what the media kept telling me.
That's right. I mean, all throughout the time when he was running with Sarah Palin, it was all this racism talk, all this, all this talk that was totally against him. He was like the worst man on earth for a little while, but now all of a sudden he's a war hero. We loved him. He was a true maverick. A maverick? When did that come about? All of a sudden now, because he was anti-Trump on his deathbed. That's the only reason why they liked him. Before that, he was not a guy that they would actually go out there and champion. And then this way to easily just try to attack Trump and say, oh, you're talking bad about this war hero. How dare you? All this, that, and the third. And then Meghan McCain just happens to have a show on television called The View. And she's able to go in there and espouse her point of view. I don't understand that because that's her father. I get it. But at the same time, I don't think it's a coincidence that she has that particular show. She's able to go in there and be kind of like the Rhino and, address basically.
So was it McCain? Was it the McCain daughter that said something first, then Donald Trump says something afterwards, or did Donald Trump say something about McCain first?
I think it might have been McCain. I mean, pardon me. I think it might have been Trump first, but I don't really know. But I think it was Trump first.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, but as far as Trump criticizing his war status, I don't have a problem with it at all, because that's what he was running on when he was running for the presidency. He kept talking about how he was a Vietnam prisoner, and if you're going to keep talking about that while you're running for a president to try to win presidency off of that, you deserve to be criticized off of that, and therefore I don't have that problem with Donald Trump said was what Donald Trump said about that.
That's right.
Yeah, and also, if you don't want Trump to say anything, just don't say anything about him. Most of these comments that Donald Trump are saying, it's because they say something first. We would not have the word Pocahontas if Elizabeth Warren didn't come after him first. Megyn Kelly wouldn't be crying about Donald Trump if she didn't come after him first. LeBron James and Don Lemon wouldn't cry about what Donald Trump said about them when LeBron James had an interview about his school if Don Lemon didn't bring him up. And they'll probably say, well, he's a president. He shouldn't be saying that type of stuff. Well, okay, he doesn't act like the president. So what? If you know that he doesn't act like that, then don't attack him first.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Victor, for the call. Most certainly appreciate you, boss. And shout out to the super chatters. I think I got everybody. Did I? Thank you to True Secret for the donation. Definitely appreciate you, man. Somebody keeps saying in the chat that they want to get in. If somebody's having a hard time getting into the actual show, they're calling in and they're not being picked up, just leave your area code in the chat so I can see it. But then I'll be able to know, okay, this person was trying to get on and they're having a hard time. then I'll be able to try to patch you in. But if I don't see your number, then it's hard for me to, it's hard for me to really understand what's going on. So let me get to my next call. 281, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 281. 281, I cannot hear you, boss.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm using Skype, so I just barely had it set up. Hello, Anthony. My name is Anthony as well. I'm from Houston. I'm the one that hardly calls in, but anyway, I just got a few things to discuss on the show. First thing I want to discuss is about the abolishment of the Electoral College. I believe the Democrats brought it up because the preceding presidential election did not go in their favor, so that's why they want to bring up abolishment of Electoral College. I mean, if it's the other way around, that their president win, they will say nothing about it.
That's right. Absolutely. I mean, they're trying to prevent the same thing happening again, because in their mind, they're thinking, okay, we can win the popular vote, but we just can't win the electoral because we don't have enough of a broad enough appeal. So we're just trying to do that. But, it's all because they lost. Like you said, it just wouldn't even be a discussion if they were actually, if it were the other way around, if Trump were to win the popular vote and they won the electoral vote, they'd be perfectly fine with the system the way it is.
And also, they said that, I know Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, said that it's to give voters a fair chance, but really their proposition already was answered because the Electoral College was established for that reason, to give everybody an equal chance.
That's right, because if it were not for the Electoral College, then there would be no need to go to the smaller states, the smaller cities, towns. You would just go to the big cities in the states with the most population. You would go to Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, anywhere in Florida and Texas. That's pretty much it. There'll be no point in going to West Virginia, to Idaho, to Utah, to Vermont, to New Hampshire, New Mexico, anywhere like that, because they're not big enough to matter. All you're trying to do is focus on the city centers. And they also want to have the border open at the southern border to bring in illegal immigrants and put them in the big cities as well, calling them sanctuary cities. Load these big cities up with people that are there illegally and then try to get them to vote too. So you'd be able to have more,
Yeah, because it gives them a power because, they know in small towns that the illegals won't have no opportunity because over there they really enforce the law. And big cities, you got two sides of the aisle fighting to whether they want to arrest these people and deport them or not, you know what I mean? So big cities do give them the advantage.
Exactly.
And also, I want to say, I believe the Democrat Party since, I'd say 2014, after Obama, or after the Michael Brown shooting, they seem to be the party that really espouse the view that people of color, usually black and Hispanic, are victims of white supremacy, and that they want to enforce laws to give them a priority for like jobs, housing, even if they are not qualified for it.
Yeah, I see that a lot, and it doesn't make any sense because what you're going to have is a workplace with less production, and especially when you're talking about education, when you have people that aren't qualified to be at a certain place, but they're there because of their particular identity, their gender or non-gender conforming status, whatever they want to say, when they're in there for that reason, rather than academics, they're going to suffer as a result. And then on top of that, they want to indoctrinate them. It's all just because of, I'm not really sure. Well, one thing I know, control, and also just trying to virtue signal to say, okay, I'm a good liberal. I help this person that cannot get on any other way. And it's really, pretty prejudiced to think that way. Like, just because somebody is of a particular identity, they can't do anything for themselves. Why not just allow me to do what I want? If I fail, I fail. If I succeed, then I succeed. But don't try to intervene like you think I'm automatically going to be predisposed to failing.
That's true. And also, last thing before I end the call, do you think all those walkaway people, do you think some of them are genuine in what they say, or do you think some of them could be like a double agent, working on behalf of the Democrat Party?
I mean, I have no way of knowing. I think there could be some that are in there as double agents. I'm not really sure what they're going to accomplish because there are so many of the people that are in the walkaway movement, the leaders of it, and just regular normies that are making videos online. I can't really tell who is who. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the general message is to walk away from the Democratic Party, to think for yourself, and that message, it can't be stopped by people that are going to be in there as imposters or people that are in there for their own particular self-interest and not for the good of the movement. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
That's good. And have you got a call from 470 that that misgender, whatever her name is?
Oh, not yet. I don't think so.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. All right, Anthony, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great questions. Yeah, I think the walk-away movement is pretty genuine. People that are going to be in there, shout out to them. 505, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, is this Anthony Brian Logan?
Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to?
This is Dominic Chavez. Hey, man, I did a lot of stuff, and I put a lot of stuff out there about you. And I represent your character, your people, because I love my best friend, thank you. And I just wanted to let you all know, out here in Albuquerque, I have a 15-year-old boy now, up over there on the housing department. Out here, just this past month, they started this program where it's not even, so in the housing department, you got to go and put your time in, wait a year or something. Then they go and they call you up and say, okay, now come check it out. They just passed a law now, recently, the Democratic Party. I'm living in Albuquerque, man. They're killing babies out. It's sad. I'm living on the coast state, and the same thing over there in New York. But in the housing department, they have it all messed up. All these illegals are running the program out here, and they're letting them. And the people that are citizens today, they have no say-so. And now they have it to where it's a lottery. So you're going to go ahead and put your say in, and then regardless if you put it in before somebody else, they're hand-picking these cats out here, putting in these houses, and I mean, it's sad. I just wanted to make a statement out here. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, man. I'm a Hispanic. I'm a Chicano. You know what I mean? I grew up representing the raza, the race, and to me, it's not about that, but it's about, you know what I mean, respect for an individual being. And out here, we ain't getting no respect, man. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I love ABL. You're some great people, man. I think I told you in the comment one time, man, you have a voice like DMX.
Well, I thank you for that, man, and I'm glad that you were able to see what's going on there. It's crazy. I mean, you a citizen, you there, you're doing your thing, and you see how people they're doing the wrong thing. They're putting illegal immigrants on, priority lists and things like that. It's not fair. You here in this country, this is your country, this is my country. We should be the ones that are put on priority lists, not those who aren't here doing the right thing.
And the thing about it, I've grown up. I've been in this state. I lived in New York. I lived in Pennsylvania. I went out there in Pennsylvania, man, and I had a culture shock. I lived in a white city over there, Pitcairn, in the side of a mountain, and the only dark-skinned folk that was there lived with me, Darius Austin. He's from Gainesville. You know what I'm saying? Went to school in New York, over there at the Ambler. I got my whole list goes on about stuff like this, problems for us. You know what I'm saying? But I came back here to New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I had never known racism ever in my life like it the way it is now. It's been like this for 15 years, ever since Obama said, opened up the gates to say, you know what I mean, you just got to say this little phrase and do this and do that. I mean, it was wild, man. At first, I was like, man, that's good. The gente's growing. Rasta's growing, you know what I'm saying? Look at all these machismo, this is and that. And then, but if you don't sound very Espanol, the way they speak Spanish, you're not considered not even a human being to them.
Wow.
It's sad, dude.
That's crazy.
It's sad out there. I live on the border. If you don't sound, you could be Puerto Ricano, Cubano, you know what I'm saying, Nicaragua, but if you don't sound Mexicano, Mexican, Spanish, you're not considered a human being out here by these. It's crazy. It's wild, man.
Yeah, it's not right, man. We live in America. It's like it shouldn't even be that way.
It should not be that way at all. Look, man, racism when I was a kid, racism was gone when I was a kid. My sister, she married, Kenny married Richard Johnson when I was like 12, 13. He was the first human being to ever show me brotherly love. I got 3 older blood brothers in my life. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't show me love like my sister's husband did. And he happened to be African. You know what I'm saying? That was me at 12. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Racism is the way they're trying to say it. I pulled up on a gas station, right? I'm bumping some Ice Cube. And I get out the car at the gas station, and this Mexicana woman looks for her chamaco or her lepe, her young little boy, and says, look at this guy, he thinks he's black. Because I'm listening to Ice Cube.
Right.
I was 15. I got caught and I got a little felony for stealing Ice Cube lethal injection and Black Cherry Sunday Cypress Hill. Like, do they not understand that we are multicultural people in this society? I mean, the Black Panther movement was started based off of defending their own people, walking around with gauges on the street. You know what I'm saying? And in that movement, along with Julio Chavez, the farmer, that was a culture. That's where the Chicanos started. Chicanos and the Black Panthers at one time were a movement. You know?
That's right.
And I will not forget that. 80% of the race that I grew up with are all in jail. All of them are in jail. They're on the pinta. And I'm not going to forget about them. You know, see, my son, I got with a German, French woman, blue eyes, green eyes, and I had like hazel eyes. My son came out with like blue eyes and light skin. You know what I'm saying? They're all talking about kill the white man and stuff. Like, I got a bigger priority than, you know what I mean, that this idealism that they're trying to present. That's my son.
That's right.
You know what I mean? People don't understand that. These children that they're bringing up, that's why they want to go ahead and pass that 16-year-old, go ahead and vote for that, to go and vote for that. I mean, they have these little young minds and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we cannot let that go, and we cannot let that be. You know, so we got to stand and fight for these rights for us as individuals in this world. There are so many immigrants, migrants that have came through here legally and that represent what's going on. How are you going to go through all these years based off of, you know what I mean, how you got to go through the steps, and all of a sudden 3 of your next door neighbors, they just said, nah, fuck that, excuse me, now let's go do this, that's how it's going to be, because whatever is whatever, and how Obama did, you know what I mean, even going back to 96 with Bill Clinton, you know what I mean, with the back of the, I mean, if people don't understand it, it's just wild to me, man.
I'm with you, man. But hey, I got a few more calls on the line. I thank you for calling, man. Definitely appreciate you for
blessings to all you ABL listeners, man. This is the real deal. I'm one to y'all. Love y'all.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the Chicanos out there for Trump, the conservative Chicanos out there. Big up to y'all. Hey, I love all y'all. Anybody, I don't care what race you are. You know, everybody, you all cool in my book. As long as we got similar values, it's all that really matters. You're all my brothers and sisters out there. So thank y'all for calling. Let me get to my next call here. 231, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Lynn from up in Michigan.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, I think everybody's aware of where I stand with McCain. A lot of information from people that were with him that he wasn't even a proper prisoner. I mean, there's a code of conduct that if you're captured as a military soldier, you memorize this code of conduct. And one of them is you're not supposed to help spread propaganda against the country that you serve, you know. And McCain did. And he got special treatment. And I know of officers who were prisoners of war who didn't get the special treatment, who stayed with those soldiers that they were with, trying to find ways to escape or at least just stay alive and not give secrets to the enemy and not, you know, sell things out. So for me, I don't care what John McCain's military service had been. I mean, the shooter in the 1966, the guy at the top of the Texas A&M clock tower,
yeah.
He was a Marine, and he wasn't even dishonorably discharged. He was at Texas A&M on a special college program through the Marines, and he was a sharpshooter in all of these things. So he wasn't even he wasn't even discharged. He was on a special delayed program that he earned through the Marines. So am I supposed to say, well, he was a Marine, so he was a great guy? Because, no, he shot up a bunch of people. So I don't care if John McCain was a veteran. I don't care if he was a prisoner of war. What did he do while he was a prisoner of war? Did he represent the military code of conduct appropriately? Did he still represent my country, my uniform? You know, did he represent that oath that he swore while he was a prisoner of war? No, he did not. Not according to people that had been with him in the prison. So You know, and then so what? I mean, so what? What did he do after that? I mean, it's great that he served. I served. My dad did 27 years. My family going all the way back. But it's what they did after they were out. It's what they did while they were in. It's the type of service that they gave. It's the type of honor, respect, and decency. And then his running on saying, hey, I'm going to repeal Obamacare, I'm going to get rid of it, we're going to replace it with something better, and all of his constituents voted for him to do it, and he turned around and he said no. You know, sorry, that doesn't, I know Megan loves her dad. I love my dad, you know. I love my dad to death, but honestly, if my dad didn't do something respectful, I'm not going to stand there and try to gloss things over. Do it in your own mind, but reality is reality, sister. You got to get out of the little white tower, okay? You just got to get out of the white tower and see your dad for who he really is. That doesn't mean you stop loving him. You just see the truth. I mean, seriously. So that's what I had to say about McCain. Somebody had called in earlier from North Carolina. I wanted to point this out. I don't know if anybody saw it in chat. But the sex trafficking trade that comes through our borders, our southern borders, is a $5 billion industry. So they don't want to close the borders because some people are getting some money kicked back on that. You know, when we see pedophile busts, and we've got agencies and agents up in Traverse City, Michigan, which is right, you know, the Bay and Lake Michigan and close to Canada and stuff like that. We've got agencies set up that are looking for these traffickers. They've got people that they're hiring for investigators, private investigator type things, where they go into computers and look for this kind of pedophilia. When we had the largest pedophilia ring busted here in Michigan in 2018, a lot of the clientele came from the upper class areas. Belle Isle, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, you know, all around the Detroit area, but all from the upper class area. So that's part of the reason, and the drugs is making a lot of money too for some people in the kickback. Why would they want to close borders? It's the same as bringing slaves in, but this time all they have to do is the people are volunteering for it. You know, they're volunteering to come in and be slaves instead of, you know, being sold. And the Democrats are selling them a bill of goods. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope you have a great evening and enjoy spring as it's coming around.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All righty. Great call. A lot of great information right there. Let me get to my next call here. 602, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Great call. A lot of great information right there.
Hi, this is Faith.
All righty. What's happening?
602, you on the line.
Well, I wanted to call in, and I wanted to talk about but how can I say, that last time when you were on Sunday Rumble, and you were up there and you were talking to Information Man and you were talking to Advice Joe.
Yes.
I have to really give you your props and your kudos because you really held it together. I could not do that. Greater job if I were you. You always, I'm telling you, they always have your foot to the fire there. But basically, you know, people are so delusional about the Democrats and especially about this president. Nobody wants to give this president any type of credit. I was looking at, I think this was last year, Barack Obama was in Illinois. He was giving a speech, and he wanted to say that the Republicans were taking credit for his work. And I'm like, how? You know, this is what I just don't understand. I mean, and this is the talking points of everybody. Nobody wants to give Trump any credit. Now, here's Obama, you know, doing the same thing. How is it that you can be in office for 8 years and you have the worst economy of any president that ever sat in that office? It's ridiculous. I think that Obama didn't really start to turn the economy around until I believe the last year of his presidency. And I think that it went up by like 1%. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nah, you're right on it.
Right. So how is it that Donald Trump is curtailing off of his work? Because he couldn't make it work for 8 whole years. And granted, I give him the fact that George W. Bush was a complete mess. That in and of itself is a whole nother story. And that's another thing. I can't understand how people can sit up here and down Donald Trump, but they forget that George W. Bush ever happened. It's like George W. Bush is completely invisible. Nobody says anything about him anymore.
You know, and the funny part is that Obama said that the jobs aren't going to come back. You can't bring the jobs back. They're not coming. Don't waste your time. But then when the jobs come back, he says, "Oh well, I did that. That's me." It's like, wait a minute, sir. You said it couldn't come back. So, I mean, how was it you? It doesn't make any sense.
Right, because I think what was this? Was it back during the second quarter of his term? I think it went from 2.3%. During the second quarter of Obama, and it went down to like 1.9%. Then in his third quarter, it went from 1.9 to 1.8, and that was in 2016 when he left.
Right.
And then when it went under Trump, the growth averaged about 2.9% for the last couple of years, and I think last quarter was at 4.2.
Right.
So how can I'm still trying to figure out, because when Trump came in, he undid all of Obama's economic policies. And when he did that, that just opened the door for everything to just get better. Because Obama had some horrible policies. I mean, look at that Iran deal. I mean, he couldn't even get anything done there. So I just can't see how anybody can sit up and give Obama any type of credit.
And there's some obvious things like the EPA regulations, because of the whole coal mine thing. The EPA regulations, his whole intention was to shut the coal mines down and kill those jobs. And then Trump reverses that, and then the jobs come back. So things like that were blockages to jobs that Obama had on the books that Trump reversed. Obama can't take the credit for that.
Exactly. So I just don't know. The delusion is real. I'm telling you, people do not want to give this president any type of credit. And then there's this whole thing with this CARE thing. I saw somebody in the chat say that CARE is actually Hamas. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Well, I don't know about it being Hamas, but I am familiar with CARE.
Yeah, well, they're saying that there's some sort of link to them, that they're linked to that terrorist organization. I'm kind of, I'm not really familiar with CARE. All I know is that they're funded, by like a Palestinian franchise. But how on earth did we allow this to happen? How do we let people who are not really Native American citizens sit on Congress, and then every last one of them are sitting in there talking about they hate America? If you hate America so much, why did you come to? I just don't get it. Why did the Democrats let them in there like that? I'm new to this. I don't know.
I mean, maybe they want them to come in. Maybe that's like part of their plan. I can't really tell. Maybe they're scared. They don't want to be called racist.
That could be, or maybe they want this country to be taken over by terrorists. I mean, that's what it's starting to look like. They want open borders. They don't care, if illegal immigrants have guns, but they want to take the guns away from American citizens. It's starting to look like they want an invasion.
That's right.
But, then there's AOC. Did you hear about her, that she was quietly removed from PAC?
Yeah, because, it was a PAC that got her into her seat that she was a part of, and she got, quote unquote, delisted from the PAC because it was a lot of scrutiny going on, because they're saying, okay, what's going on with this money that you moving from this PAC over here, and you putting into private businesses, or your campaign manager. So they just kind of did that to get her out of the way so she wouldn't be implicated. But I think it's a little bit too late.
I think so too. I think, with her and what's that other Muslim lady, Omar?
Yeah, Ilhan Omar.
Those two, they just need to remove them ASAP. I mean, it's just too much corruption. They're talking about corruption with Trump, but you get actual evidence of corruption and bigotry with these two, and for some reason or another, they just keep giving them the slap on the wrist. But,
exactly.
you know, like I said, make it make sense, you know. and so now I'm sitting here and I'm just wondering, like, with this whole border wall situation, too. Now, I found out that the United States gave Jordan last year, we paid for border wall for Jordan. Is that correct?
Well, I believe so, because it's definitely a wall around Israel, and and the neighboring nation would be Jordan. So that it seemed like it would make sense, but I can't really confirm that.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm pulling up the Washington Post article on it right now. It says that they funded a 287-mile wall in Jordan last year, but they won't fund a border wall in the United States. So let me get this straight.
Go ahead.
Wait, let me get this straight. So walls are immoral for America, but it's not immoral for everybody else. We can pay for everybody else's border walls where they can have protection from the jihad or whoever is, you know, trying to threaten them, but we can't protect ourselves. It's immoral if we do. That's what I'm looking at.
And you know what? It's not even immoral for us to have a wall, because we have walls right now on the southern border. It's just not complete. You know, all of a sudden now it's immoral to complete the wall and to build any more because Trump said we need it. Because I've been to El Paso. I was in El Paso, in 2017, in early 2017. It was a wall right there. Trump just got into office. He didn't order them to build a wall. They had the wall for a long time. So, you know, there's plenty of walls on the southern border right now. It's just simple fact that Trump wants to build more. All of a sudden it's racist. All of a sudden it's xenophobic. All this, that, and the third. And El Paso, they built that in that particular area. That was their decision. That's an 80 to 85% Hispanic city. So if a mostly Hispanic city wants a border wall, then how can it could be considered racist? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know, I can't with these Democrats. They're just exposing themselves. Every day I turn on the news. I can't see how any rational person can't see that they're corrupt liars, basically.
Exactly.
And here's the other thing too. Now, one of your earlier callers, they were saying that the Democrats don't have any platform to run on, but they do. They do have a platform to run on, and it is a Democrats first. That's their platform. Because so far, you know, with most of the candidates that I'm hearing as of lately, they're either running off of ridiculous ideas that are just so far left, or they're talking about policies that will benefit who? Benefits them. You know, they're talking about stuff like, oh, you know what, you should vote for me because I want to get rid of the what they call the Electoral College, and I want to add more Supreme Court justices and limit their terms, and we want to raise the voting age to 16. This is all stuff that benefits Democrats. You're not talking about anything that benefits the American citizen. That's their whole platform that they're running on. They're running on a platform that benefits nobody but the Democrats. And I can't believe people are just sitting here sucking it all in. Like, it's almost like somebody coming to me and telling me what I can do for them versus what they can do for me.
Exactly, 100%.
Well, anyway, I didn't want to take up your time, but I just thought I'd call in and add my 2 cents.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you as always.
All right, take care.
All right, same to you now.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you to Faith Jones for the call. Great call. Hey, what she said to wrap it up was perfect. They come to you and say, "Hey, what can you do for me? How are you going to help me get in power? How can I get more money from you? How can I get a yacht? How can I get a private plane? How about that? Let me get a charter plane." Bernie Sanders, cough, cough. You know, rather than saying, "Hey, I can do this for you. I can do that for you," rather than saying that, it's the other way around. How much sense does that make? But a little bit of breaking news here. New Zealand has banned all semi-automatic firearms and assault rifles, whatever that means. I'll put this right here on the side, and then let's get to the next call. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's up? It's Windy City.
Windy City, what's happening?
Hey, that last caller was on fire. She was on point.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
But what was her name, or what did you say her name was?
Faith Jones.
Oh yeah, she nailed it, man. That was a good call.
Yeah, man.
So I just heard you say breaking news right now. They banned all semi-automatic weapons. All weapons are semi-automatic.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. I mean, unless you're going to be out there with a flintlock pistol from the Civil War era, I mean, if you have a regular 9mm handgun or something like that, it's going to be a semi-automatic weapon. So, and then they've also banned so-called assault rifles. So it's crazy.
Yeah, like a 6-shooter, a revolver is semi-automatic. As fast as you pull the trigger, a round will come out.
Yeah, they don't. I think maybe they understand that, but the regular individual out there who has not ever touched a gun before does not understand that. They don't understand the terminology. So they just say, yeah, ban off semi-automatic weapons and let's not even fight it. And they're going to do a gun buyback too.
Yeah, because it's just like all this stuff, like the last caller was mentioning too, these people are just exposing themselves. If you just notice, like, they're trying to disarm people, they're trying to regulate speech, they're doing everything against what the Constitution of the United States is supposed to stand for. And this is all like a total globalist agenda. They want open borders. The Democrats are claiming that they want asylum for everybody and anybody.
Right.
So my thing is, like, they're just so thirsty for power. It has nothing to do with like what's right or wrong. They just want to get in power so they can continue on with their globalist agenda. Because if you look into a lot of these politicians, the majority of them take money. Paul Ryan has gotten money from George Soros.
That's right.
So there's Rhino Republicans, never Trumpers, and Democrats as well. They might as well just all be Democrats or whatever. They're all part of the same group just because they're wearing a different flag. They're all on the same scheme. They're so willing to sell out our freedoms in the country so they could just turn a profit for themselves that they don't care about the long-term effects.
That's right.
It's just ridiculous, man. It's out of control. But and you could tell, like, even the corporate media. It is like now it's like, I mean, they've been doing it for a while. Like, what else more free stuff can we offer people to get your vote?
I mean, it's going to be more and more and more. I mean, they already got so many freebies out there now, and their votes are slipping. So it's like, what else can we do? Let's give them, a cow, some land, money. What can we do?
And it was like a lot like happened in 2016 is that Bernie pushed everybody so far left. It's like now it's the race to who could be the leftist of the left.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they're all trying to outdo each other. Did you see Bernie the other day came on a news conference with like a bandage on his head?
I didn't see that.
Oh my God, he came on like with a bandage on his head, and then he somehow it turned into like universal health care and all this. And if it was just stupid. Like I had to change the channel. It was so pathetic. It's like I'm just still dumbfounded, like she said, how people are just eating this up. The only reason I think that a lot of people eating this up is because the media is shoving it in your face 24/7. And I think a lot of people don't research. They just go by, the click, what do they call it, like clickbait kind of. They just go by what they see real quick. Nobody's really looking into this stuff, into these claims that are being made.
Yeah, it's all clickbait stuff. They see an article headline that kind of attracts them, intrigues them, or it may kind of trigger them on the inside emotionally. And then they see a news story that's sensationalized. They're talking about it in a really, a sinister way. They'll say anything on the news. They could say something about some ducks getting hit by a truck. They make it seem like the person was an animal abuser, need to get sent to jail. Like they'll sensationalize things to make it appear to be a certain way to the viewer who doesn't know any better, because the average person does not have time to really research these things, and a lot of people are liberal, so they just go with it, whatever they say.
Yeah, and then it's crazy. Like they're fighting and they're getting real angry and upset, and they're twisting the emotions of people, especially women, when they're talking about like this third trimester abortions and all this stuff. This stuff is horrible stuff, man.
Right.
This is not good. Anybody with a half a brain can see that's not good, man. To me, that's just the same as killing an adult, man. That's just murder.
That's right. It was crazy to see Beto O'Rourke. He was asked the question. Somebody said, what would you do if an abortion was botched and the baby was actually born, living and breathing? Would you provide care to the baby, just like any other baby that was born. And the person even qualified it by saying it would not impact abortion at all. We're talking about a born baby. And then Beto was like, well, it's up to the mother, woman's choice. I was like, what you mean it's up to woman? Like, the baby's born. Like, you can't say the baby can just be killed. It's born. But that's what they're saying nowadays.
It's like getting, to me, like when I see stuff like that and hear things like, it's getting like borderline satanic kind of like.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting super evil. Like these are like, are people really thinking about it? And then in America too, like if you have a kid and you're struggling financially and all this, you just qualify for like all this other stuff that, you know, they'll help you take care of yours and you and your family. And so it's kind of like, you're fighting for all this death of these children because it's going to inconvenience what you want to do with your life, kind of, I guess. That's your argument, because it's going to make things harder for you and you're not going to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
That's correct.
That's extremely self-centered. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. That's very, I don't know, that's not good. That's, like I said, it's almost like satanic to me. That's just horrible.
I agree.
I'm not going to be able to go to school or, you know, go to the club or do whatever I want to do now because I have to have responsibilities.
Right.
It's just bad, man. And then the Electoral College, like another caller called earlier too, he nailed it. They wouldn't care. If they would have won in 2016, they wouldn't care. They'd be fine with it.
Oh, no, it'd be all fine because they got what they wanted. They're trying to change it now because it didn't win. They're trying to change the results because, like, you can't win the race with the rules the way they are right now. So now you want to change the rules to win the race. That's what you want to do, rather than just fighting a fair fight.
Exactly. And it's just so messed up because they never want to do anything to make sure that illegals ain't voting, dead people ain't voting.
Right.
People can say what they want, but I live in Chicago, ABL. You know that, and illegal immigrants vote every single election, and they vote Democratic. They go right into the Park District. If you got a felony, all you got to do is go to McKinley Park on Archer in California, and they'll let felons vote. They'll let anybody vote. The only way that the vote is not counted is if it's contested.
Right.
Someone has to. There's like, I forget what they call them, but there's people that oversee the voting and stuff like that. Someone has to contest each individual vote that they think that may be fraudulent.
Wow.
So they just push them votes through, knowing that ain't nobody going to contest all them votes.
Right.
So it's crazy. Like when I went to vote for Trump, being me, how I am, you know, I had my Make America Great hat on. And there was everybody in there. I live in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. And it was all Hispanics in there voting Democratic. And I'm Hispanic myself, but they don't even speak English.
Wow. Crazy.
And a requirement, like, to even have a green card, you got to be able to read and write English and know American history and things like that, you know? But you don't even speak English and you're voting.
Yeah, how's that possible? How are you even here? You're speaking 100% 100% Spanish. Like, what's going on?
Right, and so it's like I know for a fact that you ain't supposed to be voting. You ain't even supposed to be here.
Right, exactly.
I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? It's just like, but and it's just, and I mean, I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but one thing I want to ask you, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. It seems like the Democrats hate America and everything it stands for and everything about her. Like, they just hate America. Like, they want to flip her upside down on her head and do everything the opposite than what we've been doing for the last 100+ years.
Yeah, man, that's what it seems like to me, and it's really weird that that's the case because a lot of them are not going to go anywhere else. They don't want to leave. Just like after the election when Trump got elected, people are saying, "Oh, I'm going to Canada." A lot of these liberals that hate America, but they're still here. Nobody left. I don't see anybody riding on a Mountie with one of them big hats. Everybody's right in California, New York, chilling. They love America, but they hate it at the same time. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. You obey an American privilege, which is provided to you by so many different means. You know, everything that people have fought for and still fighting for to this day, and everything that America's done. I'm not saying America hasn't done wrong. It's not perfect. There's always room for improvement, but you'll bathe in American privilege, but at the same time, turn around and want to step on the flag.
That's right.
Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Someone that's providing you food, shelter, a warm place to stay, and then you're turning around and, like, basically saying, yeah, thanks, whatever.
Exactly.
It's just weird to me, man. It's just tripped out. I'm just grateful. I've been fortunate. I've been all over the world, and every time that plane lands in O'Hare International Airport, I say a little prayer to God in my head that thank God I was born in America.
That's right.
Because it's a humbling experience when you travel overseas and see how people live, you know?
Absolutely.
But, all right, ABL, I know I'm taking a lot of your time. I'll just listen to the rest of the show, and you have a good one.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All righty. Windy City with the call. Definitely appreciate you, boss, as always. All righty. Let me get to my next call here. And thank you to everybody that's called so far. I greatly appreciate you. We got a little bit of time left. I'll try to get a couple more calls in. 702, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Rob in Vegas.
All righty, Rob. What's going on?
Oh, I was just wondering. Hey, I heard the news talking about how Trump is a Democrat again.
Is that what they said?
Well, yeah, they keep calling him a Nazi. and Nazis are socialists, totalitarians. That's all the way on the left, so, I don't get it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, because that's what the Nazis are all about. They're all about government control, expanding territory. That's not a far right person. A person on the right is for small government, as small as possible, maybe even no government. That's when you go to the extreme in the right, I'm thinking about a prepper up in the mountains with his gear, just living off the land, not trying to have everybody, have a national ID and invading different countries, making everybody speak German. That's what the Nazis did.
That's it. But, I ain't that far right. I ain't going up in the hill.
Right.
But we do have quite a bit of socialism here that people just like to overlook. You gotta, like fire department, that's socialist. Police department, that's socialism. It's a socialist function.
Well, I think that some things. I mean, I guess you could consider that to be socialism, but I think that government, it should be small as possible. Once you want to get into like the extremes of controlling people's lives and everything is government. That's when you get more into. That's when you get into the dangers of socialism as an actual a thing that your country runs on.
Yeah. Well, you see what's happened over in Britain right now. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Woo. You're getting arrested for saying that a man is a man and a woman's a woman. You're getting arrested.
That's insane. It's like, how does that even happen? How do you get arrested for telling the truth, for being honest biologically? If you have chromosomes that are that of a male, you are a male. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. But how you going to arrest me for being honest? That's crazy.
or the Muslims that were fighting against gay teaching at the school.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's one group against another group. Who wins in that battle?
And I've seen that battle coming for a long time, because I'm seeing people in the United States with these signs, these trans people with these signs talking about gays for Muslims. I'm like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. I'm not really sure. I'm not Albert Einstein now, but I'm thinking you got this person that's the man dressed as a woman with a sign, trying to support Muslims. Meanwhile, when she go overseas, you got these gay guys getting thrown from the tops of tall buildings, bodies Muslims.
Yep.
So I don't understand how this makes any sense. At a certain point, those two forces are going to come together, and it's going to be a problem.
You got that right. Hey, here's another one. Margaret Sanger, right?
Yes.
Okay. The Nazis said she was too extreme.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because when they were coming up with the laws in Nuremberg for, the Jews.
Yeah.
Margaret Sanger said, that she was the one drop of blood and you're it. And even the Nazis were like, that's a little bit too hardcore.
Wow, that's pretty bad. Even when the Nazis say, "Hey, you're a little bit too much for us," we can't go down that road. You're pretty out there.
Well, all those laws, all those Jim Crow laws, guess who copied most of those and just substituted black for Jew?
Oh, Nazi Germany.
The Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's Democrats at their finest. That they were teaching Nazis.
That's right.
Yep. Let's see. That's about all I had for tonight. Hey, love the show.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Great caller. Yeah, man, the Nazis, that's a leftist. So when people that are on the left decide to call the right Nazis, they're just talking about something they have no idea of. They're just venting frustration in a way that's totally ignorant to history. How are you going to be a Nazi and be conservative at the same? Like that's not how this thing goes. 262, you know, who am I speaking to?
How's it going? It's Marcus from Wisconsin. I just want to say, love your show. Really love your show. You know, been watching you for about a year. Not really a Republican, but I'm a libertarian, conservative libertarian. I want to say that, I want to address the semi-automatic gun ban in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I got to say, you know, them doing that, they're giving the guy what he wants. The guy wanted for them to be like some sort of race war between people who want to fight for the gun rights. I believe it was in his manifesto. Actually covered it before, you know, because I do something similar, but I'm not as big as you. But yeah, it said that, you know, you want to fight for he said that if you want to fight for your rights, well, it's about to happen because he predicted it. He said, as soon as they do this, they're going to try to ban guns, and they'll successfully do it.
Yeah,
so that's the thing.
I mean, you're right about that.
Basically, they're giving him what he wants. They're giving him what he wants, and he basically won in the end. You know, if countries keep doing this, he basically won in the end, and he wanted like them to be like a race war between white people and black people, and he thinks that the white people are going to win and then have their own ethno state.
Yeah.
So this is definitely, you know, this is like scary that they did that right away, you know, as immediate as they did. It's just, you know, it puts a lot on my heart because, you know, my dad's sort of independent. He's a conspiracy guy. My dad's a conspiracy guy, so he believes that both sides are evil, which, okay, I'm not completely crazy about. I would say, yeah, both sides have their problems.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, I see the left is just more prevalent, and the left is just gonna because yeah, I was a liberal myself at one point, and I just, you know, I voted for, I was rooting for Obama. I couldn't vote at the time. I was rooting for Obama, in both terms, and then started doing more ever since the Trump election came up, and I wonder why everybody was just like acting crazy about dude. I started doing some research on him and everything. I'm like, and the more like I researched, I started to think, this guy doesn't seem that bad. This guy doesn't seem bad. You know, like, you know, he says some things out of pocket and everything. But yeah, it's just, you know, yeah, I mean, they're coming for, I mean, I can tell that they're definitely coming for, you know, our freedoms and everything. I even joined, like, I'm in college right now, so I'm a graphic design major, actually. So I heard you were a graphic designer too.
Yes, I am. Did it for a long time.
That's the kind of, yeah, it kind of made me a bigger fan of you, actually. I'm like, oh, he's a graphic designer. Like, I've always wanted to make shirts too. So, but, I'm a graphic designer student. I just recently joined an organization called YAL. It's called Young Americans for Liberty. There's like activism and everything, and there's like, you know, I'm just got like trained for I'm going to be trained to be a recruitment director for there. And the goal of YAL is to preserve our freedoms, and we believe we're primarily a libertarian organization, but we believe in, limited government. Like you just said earlier, the government should be small as humanly possible.
That's right.
And I think that we think that too. So, I mean, this is going to be, I think, being a political activist can probably awaken me a little bit as a person, because I had a very nihilistic outlook on life at one point. I mean, as far as, listening to my dad's conspiracy and everything just kind of made me think, the world is against us, and that's not what I think at all anymore. I think people like you and all these other YouTubers inspire me, to become a better person and to become, and grow. That's the key thing, is growth. That's why people say, "Oh, do you know what that MAGA hat represents?" So to me, it represents growth.
That's a very good way to look at it. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is like, I can't say I'm a full-on fan of the guy, but I respect him so much because I think it's more encouraging. He's more encouraging to us that we can grow as Americans, and that putting yourself first, putting his country first, and it's like saying, okay, putting yourself, making sure your own house is in order before you go around meddling in other countries. I mean, that's a good thing, and I hope he does that a little bit more. I mean, I know he's been overseas a couple of times, but not as much as Obama, taking out these state of emergencies, national emergencies for Libya.
Yeah, right.
And,
yeah.
What were the countries he said? Can you tell me what the countries were where they took out national emergencies for him? No, it was Libya.
I don't know. I don't know him right now off the top of my head.
Okay. But yeah, he did all that, and then I just felt like he was going to bring us on the brink of war, because I'm like, he's sticking his nose where it really don't belong right now.
And that's part of the reason that's part of the reason why I voted for Trump, because Trump, he gave me the impression, and he also said that he's not going to be an interventionist, and he's taking steps to follow up on that promise, because you're taking troops away from Syria and Afghanistan, and you're not trying to go to war with Russia. You're trying to calm things out in North Korea. You're not for the intervention and the fighting and stuff like that. Now, I'm kind of worried about Venezuela, but then again, I've not seen anybody go over there and try to take out Maduro or remove him by force the same way that they did with Gaddafi over in Libya before Trump came into office. But I'm going to get to one more call on the line. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, ABL.
All right, now take care.
Take care.
All right, shout out to the caller, and shout out to all young people calling in. You guys give me so much hope for the future, because when I was young, like I said before many times, I had no idea about politics. So I'm glad you guys are young and you picking up on it early. SOBC, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? How are you?
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Can you hear me good?
Loud and clear.
Oh, great. All right, just one second. Let me close that out. Okay. So anyway, it's been a long time calling in, so it's kind of good calling in. So what did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about, I don't know why a lot of Americans are so into titles, right? Mm-hmm. Like John McCain, war hero, blah, blah, blah. You can't say that about a war hero. I don't care if you're a war hero, I'm going to look at you if you're a good person and if you're an evil person. And I think McCain was an evil man. We saw that in his last days. And I mean, just like you said, just because someone's dead doesn't mean you can't criticize them, See what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. All the other stuff doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what they did, what they didn't do. Let's just talk about a specific thing and criticize them on that, and then have that be measured on that alone, rather than other things that aren't really related. It doesn't matter that he's a war hero, whatever you want to call him. He did obstruct repealing and replacing Obamacare. He did that. He was a bad person. Those things can be proven. It's not really up for a debate. It's just a matter of, are people allowed to say it or not? And last time I checked, we had freedom of speech. So yes, I am allowed to say it.
Exactly. And my last point before we end the show here, I just wanted to say something about immigration. I think our problem here in the United States is not illegal immigration. I think it's immigration as a whole. I think it's legal immigration as well. I think that's a huge problem as well. I mean, because if you look at the stats, there's a high percentage of immigrants, legal immigrants, who come here and get on the welfare system, you know. And today I was reading on the news that Australia cut down their immigration from 160,000 a year to about, I think, 30,000. I might be wrong with the numbers, but I think it's around that range. And I think we need to do the same here in America. I mean, some people might say I'm selfish. I came here as an immigrant, but I love this country. I love America. I see myself as American, and a high percentage of the immigrants who come here, even those who come here illegally, do not want to assimilate to the system.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. One thing that Trump was saying early, if not in the campaign, early in his presidency, was that he wants to cut legal immigration down from 1 million per year, legal immigration, to about 500,000. So that's also important, because you're getting in so many people. And then also the chain migration. That's another thing we must talk about, because you get one person in that comes in like illegally through the back door, whatever. Next thing you know, they're bringing in their whole family, just like at the southern border.
Exactly.
You got people coming in with a family of 4 instantly. Like one person comes in, next thing you know, you got a whole family of 4 at the front door. It's just too much.
Exactly. And I was listening to Jesse Lee Peterson's show today, and there was a caller who said something very, very profound. She said something to the lines of Americans have this naivete about them, you know, when it comes to immigration. You know, they think immigrants just want to come here and work, but, you know, they're draining the system, you know, and most of them are actually taking advantage of the system. So I think there needs to be a cap on the, you know, amount of immigrants that come in here, those who come in legally as well.
I agree with you 100%.
Right. All right, ABL, great show. Keep up the great work, and I'll be here supporting.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, just actually, can I ask you a question before I hang up?
Go for it.
So about that Blexit that was in Richmond, right?
Yeah.
So I saw pictures on Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, and I saw majority white people in the audience. Were those fake pictures? What was going on with that?
I mean, it's real pictures, but if you were there, it was more like half and half, 50-50. Yeah, I mean, I did a video where I was walking and talking, and people, it was like a mixed crowd. And then also, we didn't have as many as we should have had, because the local media did no promoting at all. They didn't talk about it. They spoke about it after it happened to try to downplay it. And we were also trying to fend off any outside people like the Antifa, because we got threats. The Antifa locally in Richmond were threatening to come and shut us down, being out there protesting, acting the fool. So it was kind of on the low. So we didn't have the turnout we wanted, but it was still a pretty good turnout, probably about half black, half white. I mean, you know, the pictures, it's hard to really tell from pictures who was really there. It's just a weird lighting. But from what I saw, probably about half and half.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ABL. Thanks for taking my call. Keep up the great work. We'll always be here supporting.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
All righty. All right. Thank you to SOBC for the call. Most certainly appreciate them. And shout out to everybody that came to the Blexit rally. We're going to do more. We got another one coming up. When's that coming up? I'm not really sure when the next one is scheduled, but we got one coming, I think, to Dallas, Texas. That's the next one, but I'm not really sure when it's going to be. And we're also going to do one in Chicago and also DC again. I'll probably go. I'm going to try to go to all of them, but I'm definitely going to go to Dallas, maybe even Chicago. I've been in DC a lot, so I've not been to Dallas as far as like into the city. I've been to the airport, but I've never been to Dallas, Texas, the city. So I like to be able to go to Dallas. And as soon as we know a date for that, I'll let you know. And if I'm traveling at all for anything else, like some kind of convention or anything like that, which I want to do more, I'll let you guys know. So that's that. And shout out to the super chatter we have in the box who says, we got a few here. Shout out to Titley D who says, ABL, do you think Kanye West finally came around? Well, I think Kanye is always going to be Kanye. He's always going to be kind of a floaty individual. So I'm not really sure what he's going to do from day to day. He may come around and be on our side one day and then the next day do something totally different. He's kind of a scatter brain kind of person. Not saying that's a bad thing, but that's just kind of how he is. Thank you to Will Redding who says, are we going to get some ABL OT for tournament time? Great show and callers tonight. Maybe just a little bit. I think there's one call, and then I think I might have to wrap it out after that. 214, you're online. I'm speaking to.
Hey man, what's up? This is Tariq.
All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much, man. I'm just happy that Trump is going after McCain because the thing is, we have to understand our media, man. Our media keeps the people very uneducated. So people who are corrupt are praised as heroes, and then people who speak truth to power are attacked. These are the people who are attacked. So McCain has not done anything, and I didn't like McCain even in 2008 when he was going up against Obama, and I think I said that the only reason why I voted for Obama over McCain, because I'm an independent, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, is simply because Obama said he was going to try to make peace with Iran. I'm very anti-war. McCain was like all out bomb Iran, which is going to bring us into another war in the Middle East, which is going to create another Islamic terror group that we're going to be fighting for 20 years. So no, and also McCain was very anti-Russia. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't know if you remember the whole Georgia South Ossetia thing where I can't remember if it was Georgia invaded South Ossetia or something like that, and they had Russians there, and Russians responded or something like that. But, it's just McCain always takes a pro-war stance against Russia, which is very dangerous, which will bring us into World War III if there's any type of casualties that the United States causes against Russia. So, no, in that regard, no, I didn't see McCain as a good man or anything like that. And also, I think when Donald Trump ran, I think McCain was very petty against Donald Trump. In fact, I think that no vote for health care was just to spite Donald Trump.
Yes.
I don't think, that's all that was very petty. All of his attacks was just against Donald Trump, talking about, what he made in his speech. He's talking about, American national, what Trump is aspiring is this fake American nationalism and we should be globalists. McCain was just a standing rhino. You know what I'm saying? So, when Trump goes after him, I think that's good because, you see, the problem with the Republican Party is that we shouldn't uphold rhinos. Rhinos do nothing for the Republicans. They're against they stand against everything that conservatives try to stand for. Rhinos are open borders. Rhinos are pro-war. Rhinos are for big banks. They don't do anything about this ideological, identity politics that the left pushes. Rhinos do absolutely nothing against that. They kind of stand quiet. Like I said, the only thing they speak for is war. So, yeah, I'm glad Donald Trump went after that. And, the media tries to spin this as this Trump is jealous. And that's what I'm talking about, man. Our media is so deceptive. They act like Trump sits around and is like, oh, I'm so mad that McCain is getting all this praise and I'm not, and I'm just jealous. No, Trump laid out some legitimate policy problems with McCain. And also, I didn't know that McCain had that Russian dossier and leaked it. I would have been pissed off, too. Because now you are trying to destroy me as some Russian traitor. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm not going to like McCain. I don't care if he's dead. Like, the man did so much damage to me when I'm alive. Now I'm supposed to be respectful to him that he's dead when, McCain spent his entire career, even towards his deathbed, trying to destroy me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, McCain didn't even go out gracefully to his last breath, to his last statement was his anti-Trump. So I don't want Trump coming to my funeral. No, it's John McCain who was being petty. It's not Donald Trump. John McCain swung the first blow. So no, I'm not playing this whole sacred cow thing. Ain't no shame on the Republicans. And I think I told you before, man, this is why a lot of conservatives voted for Trump, because the Republican Party is just weak, man. My God. Like, every chance they get to just to attack Donald Trump, they will do it. You know what I'm saying? What is that Republican's name that everyone is talking about who lashed out on Donald Trump for going after John McCain? You remember that guy's name? It's a Republican I never heard of.
Some guy, I think in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but when you see stuff like this, man, you know, and this is how liberals pounce on this. Like, it's like the Republican Party have no strategy. Every single time a Republican goes after Trump, they make that headline news to show us that the Republicans are not united and the real enemy is Donald Trump. And instead of the Republicans just being on cold pushing against that, it's like they play towards that. Even Mitt Romney, like, you know, these guys, they never say anything bad about liberals or how conservatives are being censored. You know, they are quiet on that. But it's like anytime Trump does something, then they want to make it, you know, virtue signal towards the liberals. You know, look, we're not like them. We're coming after our president. And I think this is why it's hard and frustrating for Donald Trump to really get his agenda through, man. And, you know, I'm hoping that the Republican base is seeing this and they're going to take action against these Republicans. Even Lindsey Graham, like, I like Lindsey. Well, no, I take that back. No, I don't like Lindsey Graham. He's very real hard-minded. Lindsey Graham is only good on some issues. Like, he was good on the Kavanaugh issue and, you know, supporting Trump on the border issues. But I feel like when Trump really hits hard at the status quo, Lindsey Graham will flip on Donald Trump.
Yes.
So I'm hoping, man, like, in this 2020 election, if there's another Republican who is like, yo, I'm down for Trump all the way, like, vote these rhinos out. Like, vote these half-affers out. Like, and there's one more Republican. Man, I got to get these guys' name, but he says he's independent, but he comes up as anti-Trump. No, he needs to get voted out. Even I did like Susan Collins on the Kavanaugh vote. But I just feel like she's just one of these Republicans as well. You know, the Mueller report, the Robert Mueller investigation must stay. Yeah, man, they got to go, man. They got to go. Because it's like, bro, me and you can see, like the average American, bro, we can see, like, this is a biased investigation against Trump to get him out of office. You know what I'm saying? Like, even, like, the narrative that Trump is pro-Russian doesn't even stand because Trump's actions towards Russia is not beneficial towards Russia. You know what I'm saying? The mere fact that Trump is arming the Ukrainians against, you know, the Russian or against the Crimea, you know, that little civil war thing going on. Putin doesn't like that. Putin wants that whole conflict to end. The fact that the United States is still in Syria complicates things for Russia and Syria to get rid of ISIS. Putin don't like that. You know, Trump still putting sanctions on Russia. I mean, none of this is pro-Russia.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just so ridiculous that the media will just spin that there. Oh, he's a Russian asset. In what way?
Right.
Simply because he won't criticize Russia? Like, okay, this man is a leader of the country. You don't want to say bellicose, hardcore rhetoric against another country who's a nuclear power. Do you want Trump to bomb Russia? Would that make you happy? And then we just be involved in another war? Like, well, these people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you find these crazies from the liberal side and the Republican side, and Lindsey Graham, John McCain are one of these just crazed Republicans who are just like, if Trump bombs whatever country, we're just gonna ride with them. You know what I'm saying? That they are crazy. So I'm so happy that this awakening is really happening on the right instead of the left, because the right not only can be, you know, pro-American, pro-anti-war, but we can also stop this identity politics, this nonsense from, you know, the crazed ideological liberal left from gaining power. I think the right must stand strong in this, and, you know, we need to remember these Republicans who are selling out, who will not stand with Donald Trump, who is happy to go on CNN, MSNBC, and just talk crap about Donald Trump. They got to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much all I want to say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, same to you. All right, great call from my man Tariq. That's a great way to end the show. Thank y'all for being here. Did a little bit of extra time for y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for joining, being here the whole 3 hours plus. I really appreciate you. And shout out to the last super chatter, my man Matt McKee, who says, excellent show again, Mr. Logan. Hey, I thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you, boss. You guys have been great tonight. And to plug myself before I go right quick, you guys got to head over to the shop, the ABL merch. What I'm going to do, since I design all my merch, what I'm going to do is I'll probably put up new merch like once a month, maybe like 3 or 4 new shirts and a couple of hats a month. And I got some more hats. Well, I got some more hats and shirts coming next month because I got new flags coming. And the new flags will coincide with the merch. And I'll also do a giveaway of this flag here. I'm going to keep this flag and put it in my house somewhere. I might put it on a different wall in this particular room. This room right here is just for the studio only. It's like a 3rd bedroom just for the studio only. But I'll probably put that flag in a different room in the house. And that one I'll give away. So be on the lookout for that. If you're interested in that, be on the lookout for that particular flag. And I'll probably autograph it and do some more things. But over here, we got the merch on ABL gear. A link for that is in the box. You should also see some merch under the video just as an ad. If you don't have an ad blocker on, if you don't have YouTube Red, it should be right there up under the video as actual icons. But you can see right here, I have the 1776 hat. This is available in regular snapback. You see it here? And it looks like that in the back, regular snapback. And it's also available in the trucker style, which looks a little bit different in the front. And it has the vented back. And the trucker hat is also available in red. So it looks like this. And you got the bat looking like that. So this is almost like MAGA hat style, you know. And actually, I have ordered this one for myself. And I ordered that one. Just a regular snapback with no venting, and then the trucker hat with the venting in the back. So I have both of those for myself. And then what else? You got the ABL shirt, and here you have not only the ABL shirt, you have the women's style shirts. You can get that in different colors. You can get it in black, gray, pink, whatever you want, yellow, a lighter gray. You can also get the ABL mug. That's $14.99 US. It comes in black, green, yellow, whatever. And you also have the ABL sticker. That's $6 US. And you can get it in a 7.5, a 7x5. Or you can get it in a 5 by almost 3.5 sticker. So you have that. And then you got different shirts. We was Burger Kings, MAGA. And I'll probably redesign that and make it a little bit different. I'm gonna redesign this one as well, the I Digress shirt. And shout out to everybody who got that one. You have to go back with the Back to the Future style logo on it. I'll zoom in on this right quick. You got that right there. And then you got the CNN Sucks, Trump Pence 20. That's going to be, I got that one coming too. I ordered that one. It should be here pretty soon. And also the MSNPC. You know, one of my personal favorites that I designed. That design is everywhere, but I did this one just to put it on the store. So can't anybody say that, you know, it's a design is everywhere, but I just did it for the store. So it looks the way it's supposed to look on this particular shirt. And that's available in men's. Well, this right here is a unisex tee. It's not a men's shirt. It's just a unisex shirt. So it don't really matter who you are. You can wear that. You got the women's style shirts. You also have the tanks if you want to get fancy for the summer. And that's pretty much it as far as the merch is concerned. And I think that's pretty much all I got for that. Y'all follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Links for that will be in the box. Go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. And again, I have an interview coming up with Dr. Shiva. I think he's a doctor. He is the real Indian guy that is running against Elizabeth Warren again in 2020. He ran against her recently, and of course he did not win, but he's going to run again. And he has a chance here because Elizabeth Warren, you know, she's trying to become the president. She's going to be doing that. So, I mean, you're not going to be trying to, like, that seat might be open. And she would be facing the same problems with trying to become the senator again, or whatever she is, because of the ancestry issues. So we're looking into doing an interview April the 6th, which is not this coming Saturday, or after that, it'll be in about 2.5 weeks. So the Saturday after next, that'll be the interview right here on the channel at 8 p.m. So definitely look forward to that interview with Shiva. And let's see what else we got. I think that's a wrap. Oh, shout out to the mods right quick. Oh, and somebody said something about Blexit. Anybody can be in Blexit. Anybody can be in Blexit. It's not about a black only thing. If you want to support the cause of the black community getting off of the Democratic plantation, we don't really care what color you are. Just come on and, support the movement. That's pretty much what it is. Anybody that can run for president that has been to a Blexit rally, I'm not really sure. I think anybody can, because there's 3 requirements. 35 years old. A lot of us are kind of young, but that's a different story. 35, natural born citizen, 14 years in the USA. That's it. So if any one of us meets those qualifications, then we're able to run. And, my mods, shout out to Mark Anthony, Pia Reza, Bye Pie, Killer 99, Nick Taylor, Tina Jones, Omar Adams, Michelle A., Zero Cool, Lucha Millo, Catherine K. Shreves, Lots of Jean, Zealand Zen, Bill from the Hills, Dan Larkin, Ansel, 1961, Cynthia Webb, Friends, Isaac, a.k.a. Protocol, Hip Hop Independent, and T-Pain. I appreciate you guys for what you do all the time, keeping them trolls, not mods, keeping them trolls in check. And that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.